Everybody, sit straight, spine erect, eyes gently closed. Shift your eye gaze to the third eye, the center of the eyebrows, the Jyotishmati, the light of awareness within. Take a deep breath and inhale. Exhale. Let's begin today's practice with the opening chant. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu Mavidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Welcome to the YEC's weekly Satsang. What a fantastic evening. And if everybody's comfortable, please open your videos. And we already have our Krishna show up today. Srijamma. Ramakanji. We have so many wonderful news. And like always say, all the surprises would have to be delightful. Surprise and delight. A surprise cannot be an unpleasant surprise. So I also have few surprises. Let me bring in some new attendees for today. Mowgli Amma, you want to come? So this is supposedly my grandson. Okay. So now I realize that 10 actually means Tataya. So this is kind of. He's also attending the satsang today. Shavya, you want to say hi?
Hello.
So this is, she just drove in. And that is Ramakanji. And see, that is Shrija.
Hi, Shrija.
Right? She's very much eagerly waiting to come and play with you.
Yeah.
Right? So that is Ramakanji. And that is Savitaji.
Mm-hmm.
And,
nice to meet you.
And of course, you know the Sajni auntie.
Yeah.
Right? So let's... So this is, they just arrived here about a couple of hours ago, and they believe that YEC is a beautiful place. So both of them are not going to go back. So that's cool. So we have a fantastic evening for us. All the satsangs that we've been doing all along, we studied about Karma Yoga, we studied about what is Dharma, and then we studied about Sankhya. And then we basically finally culminated into this Bhakti Yoga. And what a fantastic satsang that we had, last week. And we started looking at some dimensions of Bhakti as Krishna revealed to Arjuna about how we can cultivate Bhakti, what is the right way of leading the path of devotion. And then today, what we're going to do is, number one, the Srija, the Krishna that we cherished last time, she's going to start with sharing some of her own darshanas of the perspective of how she sees Gita. So we're going to open up with Srijamma and with her Leela, and then the important topic today is, I think it's also the foundational element of how we should approach Bhakti, as it is revealed in Bhagwad Gita. We're going to look at the 4 flavors or the 4 types of bhaktas, and then what Sri Krishna has to say to us on the type of bhakta that we're going to do, and then how everything is going to culminate and manifest into it. And let's see how it all going to play out. But let's first start with Srijamma. Over to you.
Okay, Jai Guru Datta.
Jai Guru Datta.
So we thought this is just a trial that we are trying. So let's see how this goes. We'll share a few minutes. So before instead of jumping into a sloka, this is more of illustration. So we'll discuss a picture, and then connect it to a sloka, and then we'll connect it to a meaning of it. A little bit discussion. So Srija, could you help us see what this is?
So there is a little like baby in the womb, and then it comes to a baby, and then a child, and then it goes to an adult, and then it just keeps on going until the body dies. But then it goes into another like womb, and then it starts all like over again, like baby, child, woman.
Okay. And so what is happening here?
Oh, I see somebody as a basketball player too. Huh?
True.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So what is happening here? Here it's,
The human life cycle is like going on.
but how come we have is it a male or a female?
Male.
Okay.
But then it becomes a female.
Female. And female is growing as well. Okay. Becomes a girl, and then what is happening here? She's growing, becoming old.
Yes.
Becoming a granny, becoming a tataya, and
And oh my, so again, I see some bones and something done. Again, there's an arrow here. Oops, going into another tummy, is it? Okay, so then what is happening?
So then it just keeps on going into the human life cycle.
Oh, it's not on.
mm-hmm.
So let's see what is the summary on this. What does the summary?
The soul passes from one body to another in this life and in the next.
So we'll jump to the meaning of it. Sorry, we'll jump to the just one second. Okay. So we'll jump to the shloka. What does the shloka? So chapter, and what is the chapter? What is the shloka number?
Chapter 2, 13th shloka.
And chapter 2 stands for
Sankhya Yoga.
Sankhya.
Hey. So what is it? Can you chant it for us, please?
Dehinosmin yatha dehe kaumaram yauvanam jara tatha dehantara praptihi dhirastatra namohyati.
So we'll can you chant once more for us? Yeah, can you chant once more?
Dehinosmin yatha dehe kaumaram yauvanam jara tatha dehantara praptihi dhirastatra namohyati.
Okay. So wonderful. So let's see. So this is more for the kids, right? So yeah, so this is more for kids. So what is the explanation? Let's try reading it. Let's try this.
So the soul changes bodies in this life and at death. Bhishma and Dronacharya will get new, better bodies after the battle. The change of the body is not the soul changing, because the soul doesn't change. We know that it is always an individual. Here, Krishna, the Supreme Soul, is instructing Arjuna, the Jiva soul.
Okay, so so what is a changing aspect? What is the non-changes? What doesn't change? So we have the bodies. What happened to the bodies here? They were changing?
Yes.
And there's something that is not changing. So what is not changing there?
The soul never changes.
Can I ask a question, Srijama? Would I ever get a chartered becoming getting a costume body like Srijama so that I can sing Bhagwad Gita, slokas at my age of 8? Is it possible?
So what did we talk about this, right? We had some discussion before, right? What did we say? So uncle's question is very relative. Okay, I should not say uncle, right? He gets offended. Okay, he gets offended. Okay. So the male body became a female body, could become a male body,
okay.
But if somebody does great job, right, better jobs, fantastic job, then then we get better bodies. And then whatever we heard about the question, whether somebody can chant Gita at a smaller age or whatever, XYZ.
Yeah.
It is all possible, not possible.
Yes.
It's possible, right? And what happens the reverse? If somebody is not doing good job, and
you might become like an animal or like insect.
also lower, so they can become plants, go lower as well.
So please help Amma, Srijama, you have to teach me so that I can at least have a shot at my next life, so that I can, this stuff. Otherwise, I don't want to go back. Yeah.
I think she should teach your grandson. So he actually becomes a man boy.
Yeah, it's all. So nice. Okay. So this was about the shloka. Now, based on their interest, we can do more shlokas, or we can do next week. She's ready for the. But for so in the 6th chapter, right? That's where Arjuna is asking, if I practice yoga in this path of devotion, in this path of bhakti, if I continue doing and suddenly I die, then will it go waste? Is what he's going to ask. He's going to ask, right? So then Krishna says, no, nothing will go waste. Athava yoginam eva kule bhavati dhimati. So it will be born either in what kind of families? If he does a good job, so what kind of families?
Like wealthy families or like
Shuchinam, Shrimatam. Shuchinam is the nice, pious, pure families, right? More devotee families, or Shrimatam, right? The rich families. Shrimatam, yoga brashto vijayate. So there is nothing that gets. So she prepared for 3 shlokas for the Sankhya, but it should be good, I think.
Actually, Srijama, if you stay, we both have the deal, right? As we are covering the rest of the Bhagavad Gita, you get to be my Krishna. You get to chant, and then I get to explain. Are you going to be with us some more time, or you have some other thing to do?
I can stay here for more time.
Okay, so you have more things to share with us? Okay, but here is the deal. Here is the deal that I want to have. Shravan, come here. I say, see, Shrija is 8 years old.
Mm-hmm.
She memorized the entire Bhagavad Gita by heart, right? And she's also looking at this cartoon so that it can be communicated more effectively, connected, simplified, so that we can be, shared with the youth. So one of the things that we both are trying to do is, how about we actually allow Srija to connect with some of your peers and colleagues, maybe at Stanford or other things, and she can actually share this to somebody. Is that possible?
Mm-hmm.
It's something very doable, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Srija, you want to do that? You want to partner with Shavika?
Okay.
Yeah, and then you can teach her, and then she will make sure that she will actually allow you to connect with more folks. Yeah, is that a deal? Okay, cool. See, it's like she's always very joyful, and she simply says yes. Okay, so Ramakanji, are there any other things?
No, this should be good. So based on the interest, we can present every week.
Okay, sounds good.
Thank you.
Perfect. So see, our satsang is slowly growing. There were times where it was only Ramakanji, Savitaji, and Sriniji. And then now see, we also have Shanti Auntie here, and then we also have Shrija. So we have the entire spectrum. See, this is what happens, the Leela. We just have to keep on doing what we are doing. So let's continue our exploration of what Bhakti actually means. Let me share my screen. And let's sing the Dhyana Sloka. Partaya pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Svayam Vyasena grahitam purana muninam madhye mahabharatam advaitamritavarshini bhagavatim astadashadhyayinim amba tvam anusandadami Bhagavad Gita Bhavadveshinim Bhagavad Gita Bhavadveshinim. Wow, what a fantastic sloka. And as always, my pranam to Sriramji and Ekaji. And if you have an opportunity, please do listen to Sriramji's Bhagavad Gita Foundations, and particularly the chapter on Bhakti Yoga, the way he infuses so much life and exuberance into this Bhakti, which is something that you would want to listen again and again and again. So that's something that I cherish as my blessings. So what we have done is we started looking at the Vishwarupa in the last satsang, and then that's where the Bhagwan gave the cosmic vision to Arjuna, so that Arjuna could then get the one body, the view of what the cosmic body represents, where essentially the entire manifested Saguna Brahman could be represented as one cosmic body. And then that vision suddenly quieted Arjuna in the sense that now he suddenly became a pure, completely surrendered. He's in a state of surrender. And then he started making the right pivot into what is Bhakti, and then how do we cultivate Bhakti, and then how do we see the world, how do we act in the worldly life. So these are the things that we started taking the journey on. Does anybody want to say anything about what were the takeaways from the Bhakti Yoga from last week? So everybody would have to say one takeaway from last week, from what we covered on the Bhakti. Somebody could say, let me ask, who is the right Bhakta? Who is the right devotee? Savita Garu?
Not me.
It's a good one.
Hanuman.
Huh? Yeah, exactly.
Hanuman.
Sorry, Andy. Say that again.
Hanuman, I said.
Hanuman, yes, absolutely. Hanuman is the epitome of Bhakti. What a wonderful thing. In fact, in our group, the whole of Friday, we've been sharing our Hanuman experiences. I truly believe that. And anything, Auntie, would you say why you think Hanuman is one of the greatest Bhakta?
Because he was not expecting anything from Rama, only he wants to serve him. And he didn't want to anything from him, only his love, and he want to be with him all the time.
Wow, what a beautiful thing. So Hanuman represents the culmination of Karma Yoga, the selfless service. And then he only is, one-pointed Ekatattva Abhyasa and Ram. And then at the same time, he's also one of the strongest dude. He can actually fight all the bad guys. So it's the culmination of the Karma Yoga with the Vailer, selfless service and self-empowerment. But at the same, and then he's always meditating on Ram. So Hanuman is the culmination of Raja Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and Raja Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Karma Yoga, and then of course turn into the Bhakti. Everything he was doing in the name of Ram. And he didn't just sit quiet at one place and chanting Ram. He was the reason, he was the main reason how Ram could actually defeat Ravan. And in fact, if I remember correctly, at one time, Ram actually asks Hanuman to learn about Mandika Upanishad. If I remember correctly, Mandika Upanishad, that's where he is given knowledge about the Turiyam, the four states of reality, and what is the absolute reality, And then everything else is, virtual reality. So he's an ultimate Gnani scholar, and he learned everything from Surya Bhagwan, and then as a Karma Yoga, and then he was a valor, he was a self-empowerment to create the life of his choosing. Everybody else was doubting, but he basically says like, no, I can actually make this happen. And then he was a devotee. Okay, so let's, what we covered is, one of the greatest devotee is not really about how many things that we chant, how many this stuff, but literally like what Hanuman represented, Advesta Sarvabhutanam, Maitram Karuna Yevacha, Nirmamo Nirahankara, Samadukka Sukakshami. This is like somebody who does not carry any negative emotion, is always trying to, cultivate friendliness and compassion, and something that Hanuman doesn't want anything for himself. Nirmama, nothing is mine. Nothing is mine. And including the body. Nothing is mine. And nirahankara, no aham karta iti. There is no sense of doership. And then maintaining that equanimous state in the pleasure and the pains of the situation. So that is what is the true devotee. And we are all in that journey. And in fact, the fact that all of us are here is that we're already there. We're actually, getting closer to the bullseye. And then the other thing that we basically said is, just like the Divyam Dadamite Chakshuhu, Yomam Pashyati Sarvatra, Yomam Pashyati Sarvatra, which is like, see me in everything and see everything in me. And that me is not an externalized rupam. It's not a Shankha Chakra Gada, it's not a Krishna that's out there. But that me is also inside. That Krishna is nowhere outside. The Krishna is actually there inside. So we need to be able to, when you become Nirmama, what is the meaning of Nirmama? You bring everything into your own experience. You become more inclusive. You see everybody inside you, and you see yourself in everybody around you. And you're becoming kind of this oneness. You're cultivating that sense of oneness. That's a true form of bhakti. And then what it means is, one of the 5 kleshas, this is like asmita. We start peeling away the layers of asmita, that it's mine, my family, my kids, my grandkid, my Mowgli, something like that. We need to transcend these boundaries. It doesn't mean that we basically abandon everything. You're there, like Ramakanji says so beautifully, the kids are born through us, not to us. Kids are born through us. And then the thing is, how do we cultivate this element of bhakti, which is like, how do we lead the way of life, which is what are the right offerings? Patram pushpam phalam toyam, patram pushpam phalam toyam. Treat your body as the divine offering. That means, take care of it with all the fitness and the cleanliness. Saucha santosha. But patram means patate iti, the one that is going to fall. Don't maintain attachment. Maintain a rimama. Use this as the vehicle that is given to you to serve the divine's job, to serve others, to seek oneness. And then pushpam, always, maintain in your heart that compassion and the love. Phalam, which is like, offer all the results of your action, good and bad, as an offering. Just simply surrender, Ishvara Pranidhana. And then toyam, always maintain the tears of gratitude, the joy of the tears of gratitude. Everything that comes our way is something that is given to us, is blessed to us. What might look like something as somewhat of a sad or surprising situations, only in the myopic time scale, it looks like something. But when you expand the time horizon, and we will see that in the subsequent, in today's verses, sometimes the difficult situations are some of the greatest things that could ever happen to you. So always maintain this tears of gratitude in the sense of gain and loss, that everything is Krishnarpanam, in that oneness. So that is and from that sense, enjoy the life, exuberant life. always be anchored in that playful Krishna. So this is what we have learned. So let's continue. Yeah, go ahead.
So can we have a guest join us, even though we started?
Of course. Everybody, this is a free open, this is Bhakti, there are no permissions. Just come in. Yeah, free will.
Great. So Tapas can join us. Is that okay?
Of course.
All right, cool.
Oh my God. Yes, definitely.
Oh, really? Wow. What a Leela. Leela is going to... Namaste, Tapasji.
He should be joining soon. I don't know. Is he there?
Can everybody open up your videos?
Oh.
Tapas is coming. We all would welcome him. Actually, I'll stop sharing and then we'll...
Sorry, Srini, I did not mean to interrupt this.
No. You wouldn't know. I actually sent an email to Tapasji this week, seeking his presence. I did not know that request is going to manifest this way. The Leela is going to get even more.
Did I miss the kirtan from Ramakant's daughter?
Of course you did. That means you would
have to go back. So I will go back and listen.
So the way we can actually compensate for that is you can sing a kirtan.
How do we compensate?
No, you sing a kirtan.
Sorry.
What did I ask anything wrong?
You didn't ask anything wrong. You just don't want me to sing. That's all.
Really? Oh, okay. So where is Tapasji?
I just sent him the link, so maybe he can join. So let's talk and see if he can join.
Yeah. Well, let's continue the thing, and then when he joins, and we'll actually switch to the thing, right?
Yeah, Umaji, if you could track if Tapasji is going to join as soon as he joins, if you can let us know.
I can do that. Thank you.
Good
call.
A couple of series of fans here of Tapasji on this calls.
And Shrija, you wanna sing this?
Yes. Yat karoshi yadashnasi yat johoshi dadasiyat yat tapasyasi kaunteya tat kurushva madarpanam.
Wow, so beautiful. So now the Arjuna is actually saying, how do we see devotion in all the actions? In fact, how do we elevate all actions? This could be even mundane. Like, for example, we might be sweeping the floor. We might be, doing what we think as a mundane. What Bhagwan is saying is we could actually elevate every action. What is it like? Yat karoshi, whatever you do, from mundane to Mahan, from sweeping the floors to the cooking to instead of maintaining an attitude of complaining and then grumbling, this is not the right thing. I wish I should actually go spend time in the Satsang, or I wish I could actually go spend time in writing a business plan or do something. What basically says Bhagwan is just like, no, yat karoshi, whatever you do, from whatever we think as we can actually elevate everything to the same level when you equate everything as an offering to the Bhagwan. Yadashnasi, whatever we eat, from the modakam to the pizza to drinking coffee or chai to or anything. Yadashnasi, whatever you eat. Yajjusoshi, whatever you offer as a sacrifice or whatever the gifts that you give. And then yat tapasyasi, whatever the intense effort, the austerities and the fastings, or the intense efforts that you're doing with the swadhyaya. Kurushva madarpanam, arpanam, offer it to me. So basically, we have the choice to equate everything at the Krishna level. Whatever the action that we do, and let's look at this way. Like, for example, if you're making a meal for our children, and when we love, when it actually is infused with love, and when you're love, that means we are seeing the Krishna or the divinity in them. And then that brings out excellence and exuberance. And when we see the same Krishna in every being and everything, then it actually becomes so exuberant. And that is one of the reasons in Sanatana Dharma, we actually represented everything, the rivers and the mountains and everything as the forms of divine. See the divine. And when you see something as the divine, you don't try to mess them up. You don't try to pollute them. And this is the way to, when you're seeing Krishna and everything, that means it immediately comes down to is like, how do I create a temple-like experience? Unfortunately, we now actually segregated temples into one part of the town, and then we try to keep that to be a little bit clean. And even in the temple, we only try to keep the main hall as a clean, and then probably the Garbhagudi and everything else, nobody really cares. But what?
Ramakant, I think you asked me to let you know when Tapas joins, he's there. Srini, sorry I interrupted you.
Okay, no. Let's actually, everybody open it up. Tapasji, if you could open up your video. Tapasji?
Maybe he can't hear us. I can see his
Tapasji, can you hear us? I think Tapasji is on mute.
Yeah, I see that.
Mute. Hello, friends. Can you hear me?
Yes, Tapasji. Of course, yes.
All right. Sorry, I don't know you guys. My apologies.
Oh, we know you, so don't worry.
We know you very well, Tapas Ji.
I came to know a little bit about you guys. So I think you guys know more than I know about you. So maybe you guys can introduce yourself just briefly. I'm just curious.
Actually, first, we would like to see your screen. If you would allow us to see your thing.
Someone else is not there. I am at work, but I'll briefly do this thing because I'm still at work. Where is this video thing in this? How do you turn this video, Uma?
Click on the icon on the left side.
Start video. Let's see here.
Oh, you're in the
Oh,
dark.
okay, good.
Oh,
What a beautiful side.
Let me see here.
Maybe you should go to the other side.
Maybe if I turn the computer this way, you're right. I think, yeah, this is.
That's lovely. It. We are cool.
So, namaskar, everybody. How are you guys? You guys do,
Namaskar.
that's very impressive. You guys do like satsang, yoga and everything?
Yes. So we do every Saturday and Sunday morning, we do yoga classes. And then Saturday evening, we do a satsang.
Oh, very nice. Very nice. That's such a... I was listening to you briefly when I joined. Yat karoshi yadasnasi yajosh dadasi yat. It was fascinating. That's a very good karma you guys are doing. That's amazing.
So the way we've been doing is, I do not know if you know Sriram Sarvottamji. I don't know if you ever ran into him. So a little bit of myself, but the one interesting thing is I actually wrote you an email this week.
Is that the email, Uma, we just saw?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Right?
What is your good name?
My name is Srini.
Ashwini.
Srini, Srini.
Srini. Okay, yeah, Srini. Okay.
Srinigurapu. And I was introduced to you by, of course, Umaji and Savitaji. And then I was like, wow, how did I miss Tapasji? This is what I've been looking for, kind of my aspiration.
You're very kind. Thank you.
So the thing that I really like about you, and it is something that I'm trying to imitate. I think that's the right word, right? Imitate is...
Probably emulate more than imitate, but go ahead. Yeah.
I think for me, I think, both are one of the... But the interesting thing is the way you connect so many different domains and ontologies and seek oneness. And you also kind of take the stereotypical image of, a jnani means, need to be in this costume or that costume. And I really like how you wrote on the YouTube, not a guru.
Not a guru. I don't know anything. I mean, look at me, I'm at work. What else? I'm in my hospital right now. So briefly tell me, everybody who's here. I'm curious who all are attending and what do you guys do?
Hi, Tapas. This is Savita. I'm from Toronto. I have been part of your satsang previously. So I've pretty much binge watched most of the videos.
Oh, nice.
And I'm part of Srini's Satsang for a couple of months. And Umaji came over, and then she said she knew Tapas, and I said now it's become a small world.
Yeah, no, she's the moderator since I guess I used to do these satsangs, and Uma was the first person I came across, and then we just connected, and she's the moderator for our group here. So yeah, it's wonderful that you guys are doing this satsangs. Yeah, wonderful.
Thank you for coming aboard. Thank you.
Awesome. Ramakanchi?
So before that, Sriniji, I think we would like to know, we want Tapasji to know about your professional background as well. Right?
Why don't we, and then I'll actually say towards that.
Okay, wonderful. My name is Ramakant, and
Ramakant, you have to introduce your amazing singer daughter. Oh my God, I listened to your stuff.
Samskara you are giving, your daughter is attending
Tapas itna badhiya gaati hai, pata pucho mat. He is amazing. She is a competition for you for the entire Bhagwad Gita. Aapse bhi achhi padti hai.
Have you guys watched that girl like same age as this girl here who just recites all Bhagwad Gita on YouTube? Like she just recites A to Z.
Shrija can do that too.
They can do that.
Oh,
too.
really?
Yeah,
she's 8 years old.
She knows all the 700 slokas.
No kidding. Memorized.
Yeah, and she's 8 years old. Look at me. I'm Ramakant, this is your girl. I'm so proud of her.
Okay.
Memorize the entire Bhagavad Gita?
Yes.
How long it took you? What's your name?
My name is Shrija.
Shrija? How
Yes.
you speak Hindi or only English?
she doesn't speak Hindi.
But she's memorized Sanskrit shlokas. That is amazing. Okay.
Yeah, Yani, so how many months? In how many months did you do that? So they have a program. So in 10 months, they memorize the entire Bhagavad Gita.
Oh wow! Very good.
Right. So we have an official program, and so Ganapati Sachidananda Swamiji from Mysore, from the Avadhuta Dattapeetham. So this is a program all throughout the world that is running since 5 years. So my son was part of the first batch. Then I was part of the second batch as well. So we all three of us memorized the entire Bhagavad Gita. We have few hundreds, and in fact, this batch just the batch itself has 1,000 all over the globe. We have from Europe, South America, all the 7 continents. So yeah. So I think you're talking about Abhideya's sister mostly, right?
Well, that one is consciousness or something. The channel is right.
Yeah, consciousness, exactly. Yeah.
Are they the same people? I'm getting confused. The girl.
No, consciousness. वही तो लिखते हैं वो लोग.
अच्छा.
So that was Abhideya, the astrology, the kid who.
उम्र की होगी वो भी. मतलब वो पूरा A to Z बोलती है. I was impressed.
Yeah, we all, like, along with her, like I said, we have at least maybe 2,000, 3,000 people right now. I mean, it started with kids only. And in fact, it was in that program, there was one kid who was 5 years old. Of course, she memorized when she was 6. She's now 8. But there was one kid who was a 5-year-old who did not even come to the classes. He was just listening to his brother, and just by listening, he just repeated. So
this is very interesting. I mean, kudos to you for instilling such good samskaras in kids.
No, it's not.
But I tell you, like, kids, for myself, I mean, I did not do. My dad was very religious. He used to Hanuman Chalisa, but I never did Gita. Gita I did when I came to the States like 5 years ago.
No, it's not about, like
past life samskaras. This girl must have been some like great person in the last life. So she just वो जो बोलते हैं ना कि जहाँ से आपने छोड़ा वहीं से you'll start again. So that is the thing. Like they will grasp faster than some other kids will grasp because they have the homework they have already done in the past life. So there's very little left to do.
Yeah. In fact, the last sloka that we're going to cover today is Mahatma Sacha Durlabaha. This is basically the example. Shrija is that Durlabha, right? Which is essentially in Kali-Yuga, it's durlabh for kids to do that. All the kids are playing Roblox and video games, and some kids are reading Gita.
They also do that, by the way. I mean, these kids also do that. It's not that way.
But
again, all of this goes to our Sadguru, And all our great grandmasters, right? Like all our seers, they have done that. It's just that I think this is just that it was experimented, and it then became, because even for me, it's like, doing few slokas would be too much, I guess. But once we started, well, it's possible. It just gave us a clue that it can be done. That's all.
And they're receptive. I mean, kids in US,
Right.
you know that. I mean, they have ADHD and impulse disorder. They don't sit in one place for 2 minutes. The girl has been sitting here for, I don't know, half an hour. And she's not moving around. This is, past samskaras. You cannot instill that in other kids easily. Very interesting. Very interesting. Very good. Very good.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
So one is quick introduction about myself. Tapas ji, I'm Srinigurapu. Right now, I work as a CEO for one startup, and until before I was working as a vice president at Apple for one of the divisions. And my life journey has always been, I started as an entrepreneur, and I thought that was the only way to lead the life, building companies and all that kind of materialistic thing. But then a failure had happened, an actual successive failure happened. I did not know how to do it. That basically got me introduced into this dimension of yoga. And I pursued it so well. I mean, it has become a passion and it has become a purpose. And to a point, even just as a play, I even participated in USA Yoga Championship, and I went all the way to the national level. Nice. Somebody who did not have any flexibility, and now I can do all kinds of the gimmicks, right? You can actually touch your head to the heels and all that stuff. So come. So then I have two wonderful daughters, and this is my older one. She is pursuing a similar line like yours. She finished at Stanford, and she finished computer science and medicine, and she works at Facebook, but she's also going to go to med school this year. And so for me, the way my life journey has been is more of a triad. The first one is the technology and the entrepreneurship, and then the second one is this yoga mindfulness. And there are so many people like yourself and Ramakanji and Sriramji, so many people came into my life, and I basically trained myself in Shivananda school, to Bikram, to Art of Living, to Isha, I've been just an explorer. Right. And I don't know how I find time, in spite of my busy job, but I find time, right? So that's my second triad. And then the third one is, and I spend significant amount of time and resources, or to some extent, in India. In fact, we run programs, yoga programs and Khan Academy and different things in government schools in India, where we hire teachers, and then they basically actually go back. In fact, I share my knowledge on Patanjali Yoga Sutras. I'm a big fan of Patanjali Yoga Sutras and Advaita. And then everything has to be built on it, which is like, Bhakti Adi Kalpitam Advaita Mati Sundaram. Advaita is the foundation, and then you celebrate Bhakti on top of it. So for me, what I believe is the triad of the technology and entrepreneurship skills, and the yoga and the mindfulness, particularly the yama, niyama, and samyama skills, with the sharing, seeking oneness, so that we are creating this oneness, and we are here to share our resources. I believe that this is a very potent force. So all the work that we've been doing for the past 5-6 years, we've culminated into this initiative now. What we now refer to as, this is what we refer to as Youth Excellence Center, YEC. And there is a tag before that, which is called the 10-YEC. The 10 is kind of the Advaita thing, where we believe that all our journey is all about how to become a zero, and then the oneness happens. So just get out of your way, the body and the mind, make that to be zero, so that the oneness is going to emerge. It's almost like, getting rid of the 5 kleshas, as Patanjali said. So that has been my journey. And then I'm so blessed that there are so many people are entering our world of the YEC. The initiative is resonating with so many people, even though it's very young. There are some brilliant people around the world who wants to be part of this. Our goal is to create next generation, socially conscious, inclusive entrepreneurs who could design excellence in the world, both within your inner world and the outer world. Very nice. And for that, what we are trying to do is similar to what we are trying to do. We do not really necessarily say it's like only Gita. We try to intersect Gita with something like Mihalev's flow theory or Carol Dweck's growth mindset, because we believe that Ekam Sat with Prabhuda Vadanti. How do we allow people to connect to the same essence no matter what the medium could be. You can get the same principle from Mihaly flow theory. The unfortunate thing is today, all the knowledge has been segregated into different islands. And then everybody is like, if I'm a Krishna movement, that means I only have to be in the Krishna. Why can't I be Krishna and Shiva and Hanuman and Mihaly flow theory?
Right.
So we are trying to create this sense of oneness so that everybody gets a choice to freely explore the knowledge. In fact, when we were looking at your videos, the way you were talking about how to run, with your technique, and then, connecting that to Bhagwad Gita, connecting that to different domain is, I think, what we try to represent as our spirit. So we're so glad to have you here, and we hope to have you more participate in our satsangs, and of course, and vice versa, we would want to partner with you.
No, certainly. You are gifted with the intelligence of the tongue. Saraswati sits on your tongue. You have very good command on a lot of things. I don't have that much swadhyay, but last point about what you're saying, finding unity and oneness. There is the shloka in Gita, Prithaktvenu yash jnanam nana bhavan prithak vidan. The person who tries to classify and further classify is rajasic tendency, whereas sattvic is finding the balance, harmony, unity, everything. So even in the differences, you'll find unity. That is sattva. And
Exactly.
of course, tamas is like he doesn't know even what is classifying and declassifying. So they are just totally ignorant and negligent. But
actually,
no, this is, you guys are very much on the right track, and God willingly, you'll make great advances. Is there one more gentleman I'm seeing here?
Goji.
Yes, Vijay ji. There's a lot of conversation. In fact, I think maybe I did watch your videos offline, but did not know the name, I think. But it was Vijay ji who let us know. So Vijay ji, please go ahead.
Namaste, Tapas ji.
Hello, sir.
I've been you're watching your videos more than 1.5 years now. I learned a lot, and I also attended your satsang a couple of times. I know nowadays you are not doing satsang, but I did.
With private some obligations, but I will do it again. Yeah, I do.
Okay, yeah. Especially your advanced playlist. I don't know how many times I have played it, so I keep going to that over and over, and there is a lot of learning. Thank you for all that you do. Immensely benefited all of us. And on the personal front, my name is Vijay. I go by Vijay. I'm a resident of Dallas. It's been 15 years living in US now. That's pretty much about me. I work as an IT manager for Bank of America.
He's also an inner seeker, to add to it. He's a very serious inner.
No, I just started recently, probably about 2 years ago. I don't know what came to my mind, just a New Year day, I just quit everything and started a 5 minutes meditation. I never thought the 5-minute meditation, today I do 1.5 hour meditation happily. So it's slowly progressing and happy with that, however it is going. And it is wonderful to connect you all guys, really, I always keep, when I talk to Ramakanji also, I keep telling, I remember the one word, where Krishna say, you step one, put one step towards me, he will come all the way 10 steps towards us. So that's something happening I'm seeing from past 2 years. That's fantastic.
Very nice.
And Vijay ji also plays flute. He loves playing flute.
That's not real my great skill. I'm a beginner.
It's not about the skill, it's about the interest, right? The intention matters.
Yes, somehow I started learning a very old style of classical music. It's called Drupad. It's not much in practice nowadays. It's almost going away, and somehow it connects to divinity because the purity of the notes and the tanpura sound, that itself takes you to next level. So somehow that I give the credit to the music practice that I've been doing, that slowly took me to spiritual,
Yeah. Wow. No, that's wonderful. It's wonderful.
And Tapasji, one thing, we also have Shanti Auntie and Sajni. Sajni, she's my cousin. She's a doctor, lives in Delaware. Where do you live, Tapasji? Where do you live?
I live in Santa Fe, New Mexico.
In New Mexico?
Yeah, Santa Fe.
Oh, love it. Actually, that's where the Taoist temple is, right? The Hanuman temple.
Yes, it's Hanuman temple. Yeah.
It's
Okay.
not far then.
That's why I moved here actually, but yeah.
So here's the thing. So what you see now is with the background of the Gandhi picture of Vivekananda. So this is what is our current Youth Excellence Center. We just bought a 3.5-acre ranch
In Dallas?
In Dallas.
Okay.
So we would love for you to come here. In fact, there are some beautiful 15 trees. We are theming each tree with one of the Yama, Niyama, and Samyama principles like Ahimsa, Satya, Asteya, Brahmacharya. So we are trying to create a theme around it. So we conduct youth entrepreneurship camps, yoga classes, satsangs, and many different things. But all of this is just create us as a platform, and so that folks like you, with all the things that you have, can be reached. We would love to. I would love to host you here sometime.
Certainly, and thank you for the invitation. Certainly.
And there is a plan that we're working on with some of the other people that I will connect you to. There are folks like Rajesh Shetty and some of the people. They're some of the smartest minds around the world. We're also trying to build it like a university, YEC university.
So what do you do now? You left Apple, you said?
No, I left Apple, but now I left Apple, and then now I'm the CEO of a startup. It's called Clean Dot Software.
Acha.
It's a venture-backed company. But I mean, like most of us is like, I probably spend about 6 hours on the startup. Everything else goes to this.
Wow, that's a lot of dedication.
Everything else goes to, in the sense, is like, it's like, this is what we find joy in. We spend more time in celebrating this and see how it manifests. Can I ask one question? Savitaji, did you know that Tapasji is going to join today?
No, and not at all. It's truly a delight and a surprise. I follow him on Twitter, and I constantly retweet his tweets.
See, I don't even know. I know there are people on Twitter, but I'm sorry, I just don't know who's who.
No. You don't have to be sorry. No, definitely not. Don't be sorry. Love your tweets, and your focus is always on desire. Why? That was my question. Why there is so much focus on the desire part of whatever it is, human desire, the 5 desires. So most of your tweets are in and around the desire.
Trishna.
Desire, you're saying, right?
Yeah, the desire.
The Trishna.
Let me first make a blanket statement. The only thing I have read is Bhagwad Gita. I haven't read a lot. I read occasionally some other stuff, but the only thing I have read and I still read is mostly Bhagwad Gita. So at certain point, what you are listening or things that I'm mentioning, mostly those are things that come to me in early morning hours, Brahma Muhurat. It can come even now if I'm not working or seeing patients, but most of it will come in Brahma Muhurat. So they are not something you will read somewhere. It might resonate with something someone might have written in other Upanishads or Vedas, Bhagavatam and stuff like that. But most of the stuff is something going out in my brain. Like one of the things, like you said, is the thing that I discovered when I constantly thought about what Krishna is saying, is that there is a spectrum. There is desireless, then you become peaceful, then you become blissful. So blissful to hum log mein se bahut kam log honge, but peaceful is what we are trying to go after, the corporate rat race in like, because if you look at it, we are the most fortunate people from Indian origin, right? Like financially and otherwise, we are probably doing better off than 99 percentile of the Indian folk. So once you get the material part, which is kama, dharma, arth, kam, moksha. So arth jab ho gaya aur kam ho gaya, to kya bacha? Dharma, you will do the right thing, and last is moksha. So that's what you crave. So the spectrum that came to my mind was the first step towards spiritual advancement, salvation, sadhana, whatever you say, is desireless. Then you'll get peaceful, because when you have desire, you'll get pleasure, not peace. And pleasure is always fleeting. It's like jo bhi indriya indriyartheshu se hota hai, wo bahut fleeting hai. It will be temporary, because dopamine, if you think about neurotransmitters, pleasure is based on dopamine neurotransmitter, and peace is based on GABA. So, like, if you want to really think about it as a simile in medicine, when patients are doing things like crack cocaine or heroin addiction, I work in a hospital that is full of drug addiction problems. That trigger, even alcohol, but mostly like cocaine and heroin, that triggers the dopamine pathway, the opium and stuff like that. But then if you do deep meditation, like after, if you're doing in Brahma Muhurat or Ekadashi, or even general, if you're doing it for a long time, you start feeling the peace, not pleasure. Pleasure is dopamine. Peace is more GABA related. So like Ativan, when you give, or lorazepam, you might have heard, relaxation. That is a medical way to go there, not permanent. But Ativan causes relaxation, but opium, heroin, crack, cocaine, that will cause excitation. So excitation ka pathway is about pleasure, but if you're wanting satisfaction, but you get after fulfilling your purpose or dharma, then you are going in the path of peace. And desireless, peaceful, blissful. That is the sequence. You have to first dump the dopamine, then you get the GABA, and then you go Gunatit, which is Sahasrara beyond. So the point of bliss, which very rarely will a person experience. I have had, I think, 1.5 experiences in my life that I had. So I kind of, a lot of things from my own personal experiences. So unfortunately, I might say stuff that sometimes might contradict in something you might have read, because, hey, it is my perspective through which Brahman I'm seeing. So sometimes, and if you even ask me about my lectures, I might not remember, because what happens is when you don't have a lot of thoughts and cravings and stuff like that, then your mind is like an empty station. So you can take in a lot of frequencies and channel it. जैसे कल रात को मुझे 2-3 बजे ध्यान आया, तो I made a video at like 3 o'clock in the morning because I just was not sleeping. So that one, I got a new idea, intuition, and difference between intuition, logic, and emotions. I guess you guys can watch it when it releases at midnight. But basically the idea is that you have to have desireless, because all of us are here because of two natures of the Atman, which is Drashta and Bhokta, which is witnesser and enjoyer. The enjoyer component comes from desire. The witnesser component comes from logic, reasoning, neutrality, whatever you want to call it. So that's why you have to be desireless. In a way, you are giving up your desire to be more, getting a bigger reward. Instead of pleasure, you will get peace. And that is the pathway to bliss.
What a beautifully explained. And the way you connected the
Thank
science,
you.
I think this is essentially how we need to share the knowledge, so that it can be connected to the current youth. Because the moment you start with a Sanskrit or the Gita, there's already gods. People are not recipient. We have to actually use scientific and to create the pathways, and then connect it back to the roots. Okay, now this is how it is actually doing. I think that is the essence. And Tapasji, what you said is absolutely, that's what Patanjali says. What is yoga? Chitta vritti nirodha. It's keeping the mind be like free of all tendencies, so that it becomes the surface of a clear lake. When the mind becomes that, then the second sutra is like tada drashtuhu swarupe avasthanam. Then you're powering from that intuitive power, the divine, the Purusha is actually acting through you. So you're not using your intellect or buddhi, you're just intuition is powering you, and that becomes residue free. Tatra dhyanajam anashayam. Then those actions become residue free, and you don't even think whether it's gunatita, right? Is it good or bad?
Exactly.
Then you are like,
times you will see, like, I will not remember if you ask me something I said in the video, because that thing, the cosmic consciousness gave me that thing. And then I got back into my day-to-day life about eating food or seeing patients or getting upset at my mom or something. So you have fleeting episodes of greatness mixed with commonality and anger and whatever you have. So I will myself be like surprised, like, oh, I really said that? Because that's why I was having Uma compile all the tweets, because I don't remember what I write. After like 3 days, I won't remember what I said. But the thing that I read back or see, then I say, yes, that makes sense. Like, so desireless, peaceful bliss was one of the early things that came. And then I think I was talking to some folks the other day. The other thing that came, because for a long time I could not understand Ramana. Ramana was extremely boring to me. Who am I and all this, what is ego? And I'm like, what is this guy talking about? I tried a lot to connect with Ramana. But one day and that was something I understood, or Mahatattva. Like, if you guys might have heard about this, I don't want to bore you and kind of hijack your satsang.
No, please, this is the satsang. This is the satsang. There is no other thing. This is the satsang, yeah.
So, like, if you think about it, and a lot of things will come to you from questioning, like Socrates says, or the method of introspective questioning.
The Socrates questioning.
Let me ask you this question, because you guys are a very learned group of people who are kind of connecting more. I like talking to such folks who are really interested in this part, because most folks are not, actually. So let me ask you this. What came first, you think? I'll give you multiple choice questions. What came first in existence? Is it the ego, the mind, the senses, the intellect? Those are the four options.
The ego, at least for me, that's the ego, perhaps.
Okay, anybody else?
Yeah, my first pick was also ego. Yeah.
Okay. Anything else?
I think Dr.
What's
Vasant
the fourth one?
Yeah, please.
What is the fourth one?
Manas, Buddhi, Ahankar, and mind, Manas, Buddhi, Ahankar, Indriya, senses.
Senses.
What came first in existence when life happened or creation happened? Because Bhagwad Gita will give you like sporadic things, and then you have to connect it. Of course, if you know Sanskrit, it's easier, but I don't know Sanskrit. So I have to kind of rely a little bit on my Hindi to understand that. So you guys are absolutely right. The first thing that came into existence is ego. So actually, when I try to fight desires, a lot of time I was kind of not making headways, because you have to understand that the mother of desire is ego, identification.
Yeah.
For me to love a girl, I have to believe that I am a guy. If I don't believe I am a guy, then how will I love the opposite polarity of a girl? There is no way. So ego is the number one thing that you're imparted. And Ramakrishna will say in Gospel of Ramakrishna that ego, I lost my train of thought here, but he says that ego is the first thing that comes, and from that, to be alive. Yes, to be alive, you have to have a moiety of ego. Like his wife says that, why do you आप ये कूदने फानने लगते हैं, मिठाइयाँ देख के ये बच्चों ऐसी हरकत करते हैं, आपको कौन समझेगा? You are an accomplished saint. You start getting excited seeing all these desserts. He says, if I don't do that, I will lose all the ego, then I won't be existing. So even in Aghora, the book that Bimlananda talks about, Bimlananda, there's a lot of mention, and then I realized ego is the very basic thing that arises from Mahatattva. And that then rises into Mahaprana, and then you call it Manas, Buddhi, Ahankar distinction and whatnot. So if you are able to fight or at least question every time you get a desire, who is the desire rising to, or why am I feeling like that? Then you start like denting the very formation of your creation, which is ego. So correct. You guys are absolutely right. Ego or identification is the basic structure for creation. And that's what you have to eventually overcome to connect to the cosmic consciousness.
Yeah, I mean, what beautifully said. In fact, the one becomes dual, right? The duality essentially means you created two separate identities. It is the form of an identity. The I comes in. The one, when the one becomes two, that's when the ego or asmita comes in. That's the very nature of the duality, which is like, you have to have the two.
Right.
And then the entire goal is to become zero of your identity. Then you again come back to one.
It's like, who is to say, when you say an atom is composed of nucleus and the surrounding electrons, atom is the Brahman, the nucleus is the Shiva, or the magnetic, whatever you want to call, center, and everything that is revolving is Shakti, or the neutral, the negative spin electron spinning around. So that is a very common analogy you will hear, that Brahman is atom. So we are consciousness. If you think about feminine and masculine, that's fine. But all of us are, in a way, playing in the feminine force, being masculine, because Shiva, if you think consciousness, is the center. But Kali is everything that she does. Tara, Kali, and Durga, whatever you want to say, that gets things done. Prakrite kriyamanani guna karmani sarvasha ahankarunatma kartameti manite. because ego gives you the sense that you're the doer, you mess it up every time. So if you don't take proprietorship and claiming, then there's nothing, then there's not a problem. So that helps a lot, because I think another idea that dawned on me was that the Brahman is allergic to ego. Like if you say, I have done it, I deserve this, you will get like decimated. Very strange rule of world. Anytime you feel like I'm great, something absurd will happen to you. So you have to not take proprietorship. That is why when Ramakrishna, they will say, you are such a great person and you are such a master. He says, no, I am the slave. I'm the slave of the slaves who serve the God. So that sense of total decimation of any greatness that is being given to you will destroy you, actually. So it's very important to remain a little anonymous and not go for, any designations, power, flattery, whatever. It destroys your development. Spiritual development will be impeded because of that.
Just to add one more line to it, right? I think the Sanskrita meaning, the aham and the akara, right? So it's just the infinite aham, we are giving a form to it. Unless we give a form, we can't work. If I don't say I am a father, if I don't take that role, then if I don't identify it with, I cannot even do the action. So this putting of the mask, it is just remembering that we are putting a mask is all what is needed. So we do not need to go very deeper saying the Brahman and the Ahankara are opposite. It is, I agree on that, but it's more, they are gelling together in the sense, all we need to do is remember that we are wearing a mask to get the work done. Unless I say I'm a citizen of this country, then I do certain things. And all we need to do is say, hey, I wore this mask. So as soon as we remove that, so that is where we call it because the Ahankara, generally the jargon in the regular world, it's all about pride. No, it is not pride. It is just the infinite aham. You're wearing a mask to it so that the work gets done. So with that, back to you, Tapas.
Yeah, that is ahankarta iti. That is essentially what is ahankara. Ahankarta iti, ahankara, which is like the doership. But when you, as Tapasji said, when you suppress it and you let go, there is no sense of doership. Just simply be an art of allowing, and then you just become a stare. There is no. But you clearly said it. The moment you just have this, like, I'm the slave of the slave of the slave. Or you
serve the God. That's the point. Like, you should not take any like greatness that, because it just like you'll hear a lot of times. Who was that guy? I forgot the name. The Israeli guy who claimed to bend the spoon by looking at it, and then you can watch it on YouTube. Actually, then he says you have to do it in front of 1,000 people, and he claims that
he couldn't do it. I remember that.
Yeah, he does it in front of 1 or 2 people, but when he was asked to do in front of everybody, he suddenly lost the power. A lot of people can the power of materialization manifest kar lete na. Aise, I have myself come across some people who can do that. But the more you make a business or something out of it, you will lose the power immediately.
Yeah, actually, the samyama, the siddhis, Patanjali says, samyama is like when you are like the clear thing, you get a lot of powers. But if you use the powers for selfish things, you diminish.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Just exactly. So what a fantastic thing. I mean, what a beautiful
Give me 1
Leela.
second. Take a call. Give me 1 second.
I mean, what an amazing thing. Savitaji, don't you think this is the Leela at play?
Yeah, totally. Yeah. I mean, who imagined that Tapas would be here on the Bhakti day? Yeah, thank you.
Umaji, I think there is a reason why Sajini, my cousin, connected you to here. You had a purpose. You have a purpose.
Okay, I served my purpose. You got Tapas. I'll leave now.
Okay, so now
it's a joke, Srini.
now you need to come here to Frisco. Get him to Frisco. Get him to Frisco.
I could not get him to Pennsylvania. I don't think that's going to happen.
My next question for Tapas, when he comes back, would be, I know he talks a lot about cookie. That's his famous.
Oh my God, him and his cookie.
He and his cookies, yeah.
So sorry,
as Ramakantji said, that you are aware and you put a mask. I am more for what Ramakantji said. Like, I'm aware, like, I eat one cookie and I'm aware of it, being conscious. But does that mean also that I'm still having a desire? That's my question. Tapas, I have a question for you.
Hanji, Hanji.
Your favorite question, actually, with the cookie.
Yeah.
As Ramakantji said, that we put a lot of mask, but having an awareness of putting that mask is key.
Right.
So knowing that I can consume one cookie and I have a trupti of that, like fulfilled, like the happiness I get by just one cookie, is it still considered as a desire?
Well, so think of desire. If you have watched that video I made before, like the 7 stages of the mind, how the mind operates. I think there was craving, and then there was something like desire, and then there was something like intention and shraddha. There's 7. I don't even remember. See how bad memory I have. So the idea was that desire is somewhere in the left end of the curve, which means that because you have done certain samskaras, craving, think about craving first before desires. Senses se craving hai, mind se desire hai, intellect se dharma hai, और जब इन तीनों से ऊपर उठ जाते हैं तो intention आता है और श्रद्धा is eventual, the highest point, which you cannot define in terms of the faculties. But desire will always be there because we came here to enjoy. The very fact, the first birth, like when I talk about that, kaise first time we came here, because the desire to desire of experience things came in the witnesser. Because if you think about Paramatma, the eventual role is witnesser. When Vidyate Hridaya Granthi Chindante Sarv Sanshaya, वो ब्रह्म उपनिषद का जो है कि there is Brahma Granthi says there is Paramatma residing in everybody's heart. So he's witnesser. He's just noticing everything you are doing. He's just record book, logbook of everything you're doing. So desire itself is a reflection that we wanted to come here and experience things. Nothing wrong with that. But the problem is that because we are not Prakriti and we try to be Prakriti, when you are trying to be what you are not, then you start getting caught up in the whole thing and the karma bandhan and reincarnation. So now even if you want to go, you cannot go until you have extinguished all the desires and the past samskaras, the proclivities and the subconscious things that you see in dream, and you are like, oh my God, how did I dream this thing? I never think about it in conscious daytime, anytime. So having desires is not right, but the awareness that you're having a desire will slowly curb the desire. As he says, Chinmayananda says, contemplation liquidates vasanas. The more you talk about it, the more you flog it every day, the slower it becomes. So having desires is not wrong because that was part of the deal. You'll be a bhokta and a drashta, but you only want to be bhokta, then you get tamas and then tanam dushta kruran sansareshu naradman. You devolve in the lower animal species. That's the concept which I believe in. Actually, that's true. Because even if you go in the animal species, it's because we have whatever desires are there, those are strongly felt in that species. Sense of smell is stronger in most animals, dogs and bears, than humans. Why? If you think about ghrana or sense of smell, that's the last mahabhut that is formed from earth. So humans don't have that sense of smell. Erect spine, everybody is a horizontal spine. So they are more close to the earth and we are trying to elevate more. So desire will slowly go away when you contemplate more or you do the tapas, or even if you talk about it more, because it's a monkey mind that's playing games on.
Wow. This is actually, I never knew about this. That the strong.
I just wanted to add Tapas ji, right? So basically, this comes from you're able to see the screen? I'm sorry. Right?
Very nice screen, very nice. Yeah.
Right. So the 3 doers, right? So this comes in the 5th chapter. Just to add to it. So basically, the jiva, the individual soul, right? He desires, and the super soul, he sanctions.
Right.
And we have the modes, okay,
Right.
the prakriti, which fulfills. The interesting part is, right? The jiva, it's like that energy which desires but doesn't have the means to get it done.
Yes.
Right? All he can do is just desire.
Yes.
And So because of the body and the rest of all the Triguna, like Tapasji said, from the 3.27, right? Prakrite kriyamanani gunahi karmani sarvasha ahankara vimudhatma kartaham iti manyate. In fact, when I was memorizing, that was the first time where I really stopped. I mean, like until the second chapter and all, I was totally understanding very simply. But until that shloka, that was the first time it was a big hard thud on my head, saying, oh, all this time I was thinking the modes are part of me and all, but wow. So main karta hu. No, that is not the thing. That gunaik sarvani, gunaik karmani sarvasya. Ahankara vimudhatma kartaham iti manyate. I do it is what he gets that feel. Right? So that is, with that, back to you.
This is a Prakriti.
When you say sanctions, what does that mean? Like he is selectively allowing you to get certain desires met and certain he is disregarding?
उसको फिर कनेक्ट करते हैं, ये 5वीं चैप्टर में आता है दिस पार्ट. And then adhishtanam tata karta karanam cha prutak vidam vividascha prutak cheshta daivam chaivatra pancham. So the 5 things that need to happen, he says, this doer and the kshetra and all that together makes the karya siddhi. Whether you should get it or not depends on those 5 is daivam chaivatra pancham. That talks about that.
So you guys have great command on Gita. That's wonderful. That's fascinating. Very impressive.
So, Tapasji, a question for me. Actually, you allowed me to open up and think. What you said is, like, let's say somebody has this deeper desire for say sight, drishti, and could it be possible that if he or she hasn't fully satisfied that experience and there is a deeper craving or for this sight, could it be that they could be born as an owl which has a better vision and the
well, like he says, whatever you are thinking all your life is the thought that will hit you at the time of death. Like the story of Jar Bharat, very famously. He loves his deer and he becomes a deer, even though he has no karmbandhan. The desire itself creates a problem. So if you want to have sight, I'm sure if you are blind or if you are having something that makes you think about having a better sight all life, then you could be born as a kite or eagle or something that has a very strong sense of vision. But
the way I was interpreting is like, for example, human has a limited perception of vision, sight. We can only see certain frequencies or we can only hear certain frequencies.
Yes.
Like, or can see better, or other animals can hear more better.
Yes.
And that basically is like, is that the result of your previous birth's desire that you're given these extra capabilities, or is it because there is an element of divine capability that is there? Right? Like all has a better divine vision than the human.
2 parts to it. Very good question. Yeah. 2 parts to it. First is what you're saying is like bees can see infrared and UV spectrum. We can only see the VIBGYOR, the violet, indigo to red, but they can see the spectrum. Or dolphins can hear infrasonic sounds that we cannot hear. Or sometimes I think dogs can pick up earthquake vibes from whatever. But those things are a little different than in terms of spiritual elevation. That just represents a need for them to survive, and they might have hyperacuity of hearing or sight. But that, is it because in their past life they were trying to have a stronger sense of smell, or they were missing it? Maybe, if that's the way the cosmos interprets it. But that will not lead to salvation, is my understanding. Because it's just like you said, if they desire, the Paramatma will sanction and then gunas will work to get you there. So for most of us, I would hope we are not looking for a hyper acute sense ki yaar, for a sense of smell strong hota to I would have more sexual pleasure, like like animals would have. It depends what we think most of the time. But I think at our stage, most of us are really contemplating the meaning of life, purpose of life, what happens after life, this life ends, and what is moksha? Is there such a thing? And is it really more peaceful to be in that state? I think for me, those are the more important questions. And one way to assess it is, are you more happy today than you were 2 years ago or 3 years ago? Are you more satisfied with yourself, peaceful? If the answer is yes, you're on the right path. Uma and I talk about this all the time. If you are not, then something needs to change. So yeah, if you desire a stronger sense of smell, hearing, sight, sure, I think the Paramatma will grant us that, but that does not solve our basic problem, which is to break this cycle of births and rebirths.
Mm-hmm. Actually, that's what it says, right? Jantunam narajanma durlabham. Because, only we have this mind, is the Prakriti is there for us to transcend Prakriti. Prakriti is the equipment that we have to be able to transcend the Prakriti. Whereas others, yes, they're given some element of this divine vision or divine sound or something, but they don't have the other kind of the 23 tattvas to be able to then go transcend it. They're using
yes,
it for the survival thing, right? They're only using it for
it's either a bhog yoni or a rog yoni. Animal is not a yog yoni. Either you are you had some desires, like Jadabharat is a sage, but he is born as an animal, deer. How can that be? Because he has a desire. He loves his deer so much that he becomes a deer. It's kind of ridiculous. Or it's a rog yoni. Tanaham dushta kruran sansarishu naradma chipa me jasan subhana shivsha yonis. You are not happy with all the sensual pleasures. You want more sensual pleasures? Go to animal yoni. Enjoy there as much as. But it's not, anybody can see that the dog is not having a better life than us. I mean, that's what tamas is. The dog thinks he's having a great life, but not really. So someone from a neutral standpoint needs to watch these bhoktas to know the drashta, has to watch who is really winning here, actually.
And even on that same thing, can we also extrapolate, like even devatas? They're also not the salvation capable. At some level, they're enjoying the benefits of their positive quota. So they're also bhoktas at some level.
So Patanjali talks about it. I don't know, it is in Hatha Yoga or Patanjali. No, actually, even Krishna talks about it. Brahma bhuvana loka punaravarti no arjun mau pitu kante punarjanma vidyate. And then there he says that Brahma adayopi tridasha pavan abhyas tatpara, which is like doing kumbhak even till Brahmalok, the 7 lokas. All of them, even Brahma is supposed to be born and dying.
Yeah.
So Devatas, to answer your question, is just a state of heightened spiritual attainment who can be a sanction, like what you said. He can, Hanuman can give you certain things. Lakshmi can give you certain things. Not moksha, but he can reduce the vigna, the problems that you're having. So the sanctioning part, even Krishna says, who wants to go to the loka of devas, go to the devas. Who wants to go to Pitri, goes to Pitri. Who wants me, comes to my loka. So depending on your desires will determine your destination. That's what he's saying. But if you desire to get a, like eat 10 cookies, then yeah, you will get it. But where is the eventual peace in there? There is no peace. You'll again be craving, hankering, and cycle will keep repeating. So correct. Yeah, Devatas will sanction you, but the Devatas themselves have not transcended the cycle of life and birth. It's a bhog yoni, but they haven't transcended.
It's just like the bhokta, like an animal. It's just that they are having all the supposedly the positive, and then they have powers to help the humans. For them to get to the salvation, they have to become a human at some point.
Right. They are doing it in the sukshma, like how the 3 shariras we talk about. Sukshma. So if you want to enjoy in the sukshma, like dream state, positive vibe, then devta. But if you come, it's the devatas that fall on earth because the work can be done more rapidly in Prithvi than in the deva. Deva lok is not, you cannot burn karmas there as much as you can burn in Manushya.
Correct. I think it's a beautiful thing because at some level the animals and the gods, they're all in the bhoktas at some level, but they're all wearing different bodies, right? One is a gross body, the other one is a subtle body.
So just to add, right? So this infographic helps us. This is the 15th chapter, right?
This is Chinmayananda's representation. I recognize this.
Right?
ये वाला है ISKCON की तरफ से, और ये है चिन्मया जी का BMI chat that they talk about. So this is where exactly the desire. So I think Savita ji was talking about why Tapas ji talks about desire so much here. So this is a very simple infographic.
Are there cookies there? Are there cookies? No, sorry.
So here is Brahma basically, right? This is Brahma ji, and this is the inverted Ashwatha Vriksha. Okay. And here they are pious acts here. We have impious acts here, sense gratification, economic development, religiosity, right? The Vedic hymns, liberation, all this happening. But interestingly, on top of all of this, I mean, we see all the animal kingdom and all here, but we have Brahmaji here, but still this is all under the reverse tree, right? The Ashwatha Vriksha, which is in the reverse form. So everything under this, like Sriniji and Tapasji were saying, so everything under here, the Brahmas, they also perish and continue that. But that which is not is above here, right? Above the desire, the Goloka that they talk about. Of course, again, this is all the 15th chapter, and the same thing goes.
Even that also is a Saguna Brahman. That's also
here,
Saguna Brahman. Like the Krishna and all this stuff is only the Saguna Brahman, right? You know, the transcendental is a Nirgun Brahman.
Right.
Right. Right. But again, you know, there is a lot of questions when we go to Shankara and when we have Chinmayananda's mission, you know, they a little bit interpret the 15th chapter.
All of them get to, at some level, they're all kind of operating in the Vishishta Advaita kind of a thing, right? So even the Om also is also the representation of Ishvara, the Saguna Brahman.
Right. So here, that is exactly what you're talking. This infographic is all about the Om, and the Maya cuts down here, right? So for me, these two are interesting similes, basically, these two, because here they put it as Om, and ISKCON friends put it as Krishna here. And then the line here is about Maya, and here what Savitaji talked about desires, the line comes here, and the rest of it falls down. This is
a very good representation. If you think about it, I actually have made a video about this too. Why is Om the connecting link in your picture between awareness and Maya? Think about it. Like our Mahabhut formation, there's a sequence that I think the Upanishads tell you how the Mahabhuts are formed. The first Mahabhut that is formed is ether, vacuum, nothingness. The closest to unmanifest that we have in real world is vacuum. So
yeah, I pulled your, for you, I pulled the picture here already.
That is the Shiva.
Yes, that's great.
That is Shiva, right? The vacuum is perhaps the Shiva. Please continue. Sorry.
Well, vacuum is the earliest Mahabhut that can be. That's the Mahabhut that represents vacuum is sound, dhvani. Even Abhimanyu, when he's not born, he can still hear Subhadra and Arjun talk about Chakravyuh, because dhvani is the first thing that we get in life. So unmanifest, jab manifest aata hai, to Om, Ma, to be first thing that will be coming is sound. So
that's what
Om is the pious sound.
That's what Rudra, roar. That's what even equate that to. It is basically the roar, vibration, the sound, dhvani. Yeah.
Yes. So the dhvani is the first one. And then you get, of course, from ether, you get air. So air is sparsha, touch, feeling. That second grows. And then from that, it's the fire, which is roop, drishya, the vision or appearance. And from that is the water, which is rasa or taste. And from that is the ghrana or smell. So that is why smell is the most sensual, and hearing, that is why chanting, music. Why is chanting so devotionally enlightening? Because that is the closest link you can go from manifest to unmanifest. So that is why chanting music is the simplest way. Bhakti Yoga, why is it so simple? Because that is reverse engineering back to the unmanifest, Shiva, the consciousness, through the power of sound. Because even in our life, the first thing that we contract is sound. In mother's womb, we can still hear. And I have my own personal experiences about dying patients. If you had watched that, I'm sure you guys have watched the 3 things I learned from dying patients. That's my own experiences. I had a patient, 90-year-old woman who had a subarachnoid hemorrhage. I'm pinching her and torturing her in every way to excite a response from her, and she doesn't. And I'm like, is she brain dead? Is she dead? Or what's going on? And then suddenly her son comes, American guy, son comes and says, Mom, and she opens her eyes and then she closes again. Because even the dying person, all the senses are dead. She's not feeling my pain. She's not feeling anything, but she can still hear stuff. She could hear it when she was a fetus in her mom's womb, and she can hear just before she's dying. Sense of sound, sense of hearing is the first to come and last to leave. because it's reverse engineering. Om से start हुआ, पूरा माया में घूमा, महाभूत में घूमा, वापस ओम से ही निकलना है आपने, और कोई रास्ता नहीं. So that is very interesting. Whoever made
Actually,
this chart.
Tapasji, a little bit, actually, you allow me to probe into this. There's sound and then there is silence.
Right.
So do we take an anchor of silence to get to Om, or transcend Om to get to, like, let's say Turiyam, or
you have to channel the power of sound to overcome the sound, just like you have to play with Prakriti to overcome the gunas, which we are composed of. Sattva is also a guna. Gunatit nahi hai na. Sattva is also balance. The guna of balance is still a guna. So, and doshas, when you say in Ayurveda, dosha is defect. If you think Vata dosh, Pitta dosh, Kapha, dosha means there's something lacking. Something is wrong inherently. So that is why Prakriti is always going to be having some flaws. If you want flawless, that is silence. But the most melodious music is Om. Nothing sweeter than that, because that will only lead to the silence, Vipassana, or whatever you want to call it.
I think this is what it says actually in the Shivananda schools. Om, and then of course, that Saguna Brahma or Ishvara, the highest in the manifested world, you have to use that as an alambana to actually go beyond it. That's when the silence comes, and that's where the Turiyam, right? And it's the silence beyond, and it's that becomes the fourth, which is the Chaturda, which is the common substrate, which is but it's beautifully said, what you said, which is you have to use the sound of Om to connect to the silence.
And then you might become like Ramana. Everybody does it differently. Ramana Maharishi would not speak. He will give one word answer. Ask him big questions, he'll give one word answer. Because nothing to say, nothing to feel pain, nothing to do. That is very strange level, which most of us won't experience. But if you think about Neem Karoli Baba, he's more Nishkam Karma. Love people, feed people, serve people. He's all about Karma Yoga. And then there is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is Bhakti Yoga. So everybody has different paths. But we have to stick to one of these paths. Hopefully we are attracted to one of these paths, whether it is the power of sound, power of karma, or power of dhyana, which is very hard. Dhyana yoga is the hardest because you have to be silent and not fall asleep while you are doing the meditation in the morning. So
actually, they did a hack actually. Vivekananda used to explain it. In the shloka, Mai Karmani Sarvani, what is dhyana? The way the Patanjali defines is dhyana is not even silent. What it basically says is Tatra Pratyaya Ekatanata Dhyanam. When the image that the Prakriti created, when it stays the same, Ekatanata, from this moment to the next thing, that is what is called the dhyana. The dhyana is not it's a still or a static state. It is actually a continuous flow. But the only thing is the experience, the image that the Prakriti made remains the same. So what basically say, Mai Karmani Sarvani, when you offer every action as a thing, you're constantly meditating on Krishna.
Very nice.
So you could actually incorporate dhyana, Raja Yoga into your worldly life. And that's actually one of the best things that you actually said. Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, and Raja Yoga can all combine together to actually culminate into it. Mai Karmani Sarvani, which is actually is the perfect way to do the dhyana. Because what is the pratyaya? If you always keep that Om or Krishna or Shiva, and then do every action, but it always anchored on the same pratyaya, which is the Krishna, then you are in the meditative state.
Very nice. Very nice.
So that actually is a greatest hack that they actually created, which is how can you lead in the thing and still you can actually do all the things, which is
just to add, right, one thing is we consciously putting the seeds. That is one game, like in the Sai Satcharitra, the way Baba says, right? So I leave this thread, right? So you feel as if you are flying along, but I slowly rotate it, right? So that you still feel I am flying. So these are two still available. That is, we consciously, like Tapasji said, you have to pick the direction, right? Dhyana yoga. But believe me or not, on one side we can do that, agreed. But there is, like with Vijay, I always say, whenever I talk to Vijay, I say, I can clearly see the guru behind you. I'm not a drashta, so I can't see you, but I can clearly see there is a guru just clearly working with you.
Yes.
So similarly, in this sadhana zone, we can consciously put our seeds, but it is the destiny which is actually working through. Fantastic.
What you are saying, there is a sequence in that actually. Sankalp, Shraddha, then Param. So Sankalp is a free will, Iksha Shakti, intention, whatever you call it. Shraddha is when it is consolidated as faith. No matter what I tell you, it's like beyond delusion and whatever you want to call it. It's like extremely strong, potent. Nothing will change my mind. Belief can be broken. Shraddha, faith only grows with more challenges and torture. And then
because the reason why I say this is because I see this entity here until 18 years of old, right? No guru, no pujas, I mean, no specific gurus in the family, core non-veg eater. And I can't go deeper. I can talk more about that taste of non-veg eating kind of thing. So I think none on this call would eat that kind of varied styles of precision and all that. Right? Fish curry banana ho to 3 din usko marinate karke hi, that too my granny has to prepare.
Was a meat eater.
Sorry?
Vivekananda was non-vegetarian.
Yeah, even Buddha was a meat eater.
Yeah. Oh, okay, I did not know. Okay.
Buddha was also
but
Hitler was a core, hardcore vegetarian.
Vegetarian, exactly. Right. So, but destiny, and especially this system, whatever we are talking today, I was so extremely against it. I used to hate these sadhus or these people who sit and meditate in the first place, because I clearly knew they are wasting their lifetime and they are not practical and all those. And in fact, never bowed down except my parents and my elders. When pujari comes and priests and all, never bowed down to anyone. But suddenly, I step into one of the courses there and they do some, they give the mantra and they say, okay, just close your eyes. And suddenly after, while they initiate into meditation, and then while we are opening our eyes, suddenly I see, I'm just saying in my inside that I want to open my eyes, and I see the eyes automatically open. That was the first time I got so afraid. And of course, it took 40 days. Along with all others. And of course, it was great about that course that they were explaining that all these do happen, fortunately, right? So I was totally thinking that I was possessed, right? Because 18 years old, nobody is able to answer this. But fortunately, the course, they were able to explain. So it took some time to settle down. And so then everything changed. There are multiple gurus in my life. There are grihasthas who are enlightened into my life and multiple enlightened masters into my life. And everything changed. But kya change hai? Change is only internal. Like you said, from that, moving to the peace, basically.
Actually, yes. Ramakanji, I think Tapasji, what we basically said, we all say this in our satsangs. It all comes down to 3 or 4 questions about it, like what Sri Ram Sarvottam is like. There are 3 existential: who am I? Where am I? Why am I here where I am? And then what do I do about it? It simply comes down to, it's like, knowing these things. And that's what Bhagavad Gita says, right? Sarva kshetre kshurukshetre, kshetre kshetre. We're all this, in this body is one kshetra, and then the prakriti, in the situation that you're in, the second kshetra. And then what do I do about it? Who am I? Where am I? And then knowing why am I here, where am I? And then what do I do about it? So we all need to come to like, what do I do about it?
So and I think, yeah, please go ahead. Vijay ji, please.
Sorry for my ignorance here. So basically, who am I, why I'm here? These questions where we mostly contemplate in the Raja Yoga or the, Gnana Yoga maybe, but how do we,
Sorry, actually, Vijay ji, sorry. I don't think that is very much limited to Jnana Yoga. I mean, it's in fact the whole.
That's where I'm framing my question. That's why I said, I know, excuse me for my ignorance here. So, Bhakti Yoga, as, love for divine and devotion, and you are immersed and you forget about yourself. Whatever. So what is the advance, how do you progress in Bhakti Yoga towards this realization? Who am I? Or, why I'm here? Does that happen in Bhakti Yoga? Or any such instances? I know Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, who did both Raja Yoga and Bhakti Yoga, ardent, bhakta of Kali, and also goes into samadhi for days, and Tosaram, he teaches him the Nirvikalpa Samadhi and practices both. I know Ramana may be also the same road, but when it comes to, say, for example, I'm only 2 years in this, as I explained earlier. I do well with the meditation, but my bhakti thing keeps fluctuating as I learn more and more, or maybe I'm leaning more towards the Raja Yoga. So bhakti is there. I'm not saying it vanishes, but some days I get too much emotional, some more bhakti, some days not. So my question: how do we, what progress we can see in bhakti yoga, basically?
That's a
So,
fantastic question, actually. There's a fantastic, that's what we will probably cover in Satapasi, please.
I don't know if it's what stage we, this is me, my personal opinion, what stage we elevate from Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti Yoga is, staying in Bhakti is, that's it. You're in Bhakti. There is no, I feel there is no, okay, you graduated from here, now you can do this from Bhakti. I feel it's the constant stay in that itself. I don't know what they did from that, but I think from there you get guidance to whatever you want to do. But
Yeah,
the
that's the
constantly
point.
staying in the bhakti, is itself is the everyday work. That's how I see it.
Definitely not samadhi part, right? So you don't go into
Yeah. It
samadhi.
just you just stay in
So
bhakti, and
So I'm
there is no
trying
end
to
beginning.
see the similarity, or is there something like that in Bhakti Yoga? When I'm fully immersed in Bhakti, do I see the divine? The visualization happens, or how do I know that I am Brahmasmi? That has happened in Bhakti Yoga. I'm trying to find answer for my question. I'm
okay,
not
let me
saying
say
anything
a
here.
few things here, which may or may not answer your question.
Yeah.
But when Ram asked Hanuman, there's a very simple anecdote. Who are you? Hanuman answers, when I don't know who I am, I worship you. The day I know who I am you.
Exactly.
So bhakti is just a conduit saying that you and I, apparently there's some ego, that's why we appear different. But once we merge, there is no conduit. So do you experience that? Like some people will go dhyana, they will go in samadhi. Bhakti, I have not experienced that intense bhakti because everybody has a different modality. I love music, so I love chanting Hanuman Chalisa and stuff like that. But I haven't experienced the heightened state of trance, what you call in bhakti, when Chaitanya sometimes will happen, or even Ramakrishna would fall down when he's singing. I'm sure that happens, or rarely can Kalyug, but I'm sure that used to happen in earlier
That's
days.
where when we say trance, that's where the duality is dropping, and you become non-dual.
Exactly.
Yes. You
Actually,
just
samadhi.
experience what dhyana people will experience in samadhi. I don't know what the Hindi word is. I'm sure there's a word for that. In bhakti, you will go in trance, like you are merging with the supreme consciousness. So you'll feel extreme bliss, and that might cause you to collapse or fall down or whatever. But that is the state that bhakti can lead to. Just every yoga will lead to the same, whether you call it samadhi or trance or whatever word you want to use. So it might not work for you, just like you said. Some people cannot do dhyana, they cannot sit. Some people do just nishkam karma, like Neem Karoli lineage. Some people just do bhakti, like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Ramakrishna. Bengali origin, I am myself born in Bengal, actually. There is a very strange phenomenon I have noticed. People who are born in Bengal, especially, there you will see a very strong cult-like following of bhakti, whether it's Chaitanya, Ramakrishna, Vivekananda, Yogananda. All these guys are from Bengal. And Bengal has a very strong culture, Ma Anandmai. Every one of them have very strong bhakti roots, whether it's towards Vivekananda, not so much. He used to scorn actually Paramhans, but for the most part, most of them have very strong bhakti roots. But the South, if you go like Telangu Swami or Ramana, I'm sure there is great bhaktas in South as well. I don't know if Sai Baba used to do
Actually, the Bhakti movement originally was created in the South with Ramanuja. That's when the Vishishta Advaita came. Before that, it was like a really the really abstract Advaita. The Shankara pioneered the thing.
Yes.
And even before Shankara, which is more about the Yajurva Veda, which is like all the ritual, right? You know, which is all the karma kandas used to prevail. And then, you know, Shankara came in and did the Advaita. Then with this, the Vishishta Advaita that created like the whole Bhakti movement. And then that kind of, you know, gotten into the thing. The way I understood, here is the thing. What is Samadhi? Like what Patanjali debates. They're like Tadeva Shunyamiva, Tadeva Ardhamatram, which is like the object becomes, the subject-object duality disappears. The subject disappears. You just become the Ardhamatram. You just become the object. Like a Hanuman and Ram, whenever things about whom I be, you know, for him only Ram remains. There is no Hanuman. So, and in fact, this happens. In fact, you know, forget about our thing. Mihaly flow theory is also this. When you are engaging in certain thing that you love, when you lose the sense of time, your sense of I, and then you are immersed in some activity, that is actually the transcending samadhi level experience.
Very nice.
And in fact, what Mihaly flow actually said from the concentration camps, the flow is nothing but the bhakti. Whatever you can actually create this bhakti experience in the work that you do. Basically, it's like, you know, when you lose the sense of you, when you lose the sense of time, and only that, you know, in fact, we would even equate, like, you know, Sachin Tendulkar, when he's actually playing cricket.
Yeah, we are
sometimes right, he doesn't know Sachin at the time. Only the ball remains and this stuff, you know, he's actually in a bhakti of what he's doing. Right? And then when you are in that bhakti, what happens is there is no chatter, because the chatter is only there when you have the duality. You know, am I doing it for me? The profit and loss chatter. When the mind essentially goes in there, you are in the servitude mode, only the object remains. Then the intuition powers into it. Right? The magic is like, you know, then you are, you know, singing, you know, you are not aware of logic, you are not aware of the conditioning. You can do whatever you want. Right? And these magics actually happen all around in our day-to-day lives. It's just that we have a concept of what bhakti means, right? You know, bhakti means we are looking for this transcendental experience and this and this and this stuff. But this is actually very much happening, right? You know, a mom actually catering to the child is probably the greatest thing, right? Because you're not really expecting anything. You're doing all the things. How did we grow up to be a parent? No trained material. How did I raise two kids who are like 24 and 19? It's just unbelievable. It's just bhakti. Bhakti is at play.
So you mean to say the I with the ego dies and I with the consciousness remain in the
There's only one. There cannot be you and I. For you and I, there has to be two. I love you. There has to be two. If there is no two, there is no I, there is no you. There is no.
No, once you transcend, the I with ego should go away.
Exactly. There is no give and take.
If you don't have ego, you cannot live. That's the whole point. Ego, for sustaining the Panch Mahabhut, morsel of ego is needed.
Well, on the daily life, you will have both. And that's how you balance. If you are probably the enlightened master, you balance between the I with the consciousness and I with the ego. But when you're in the trance, like that bhakti or in the samadhi, for example, the I with ego is gone for that moment. And you definitely come back to the normal life, and you still see the I with the ego and I with the consciousness, both.
Yes, you see yourself as a consciousness.
I think this is a great example, right? Let's take the example of Mother Teresa, right? You know, she was like, you know, in the service of others. There is no identity of, you know, her, right? You know, for her, even though she was a karma yoga, you know, a lot of people think that she's doing that as a service to the Jesus. I mean, it's the greatest display of bhakti, right? But we all equate that as a thing, and that's why there's a beautiful saying that Sarvapriyananda says, which is like, you know, when Jesus appears in front of Teresa. And Teresa basically asks, you know, it's like, you know, who are you? And she says like, I'm the Teresa of the Jesus. And then when she asked Jesus,
No,
it's like,
Jesus or the Teresa, right?
Teresa, right? Because there is oneness in there, right? I mean, that's what again goes back into, is like, Mai Pashyami Sarvami, see me. There is only oneness. See everything in me and see, in me everything kind of stuff. So I think this.
मगर एक problem है इसमें विजय जी, that the thing here is there is a subtle, very interesting point. Maybe I can share that slide again. That is, as soon as it becomes a goal-oriented, understanding के लिए, theory के लिए, using this Prakriti, the components to understand this overall stuff is fine. But as soon as we say, ये ऐसा होना चाहिए, so we moved from the being state to more into a doing state. As soon as that jumps, then सारा, theoretical बन जाता है, right? So let me take you to that slide, which talks about meditation, right? So this simple concept. So just a state of nowhere to go, nothing to do, right, is that meditation. And as soon as we add any component to it, then the whole fun changes. Okay, so here is the slide. So as we sit, right, as we slowly and gently sit down, so this sankalpa of nowhere to go, right, nothing to get, nothing to do, right? As soon as we sit with nowhere, and then we can do it in another language, right? We say, I want nothing, I will do nothing. In fact, I am nothing. And when we slowly, coolly sit down, these waves, even whatever you are talking about, because ultimately you are saying, हमको कैसे पता चले कि am I progressing or not? जिस तरह से तपस जी बोल रहे थे, moving from this chatterness to more peaceful state itself is enlightenment. That's it. In the sense, ये satori हो सकता है. That is all different. That is all manonaya and manonasa they talk about. But it doesn't matter for us. Practical way, like like a Tapas ji, like a doctor here, and we are putting our EEG and whatever. Right? So essentials are relaxation, watching, and no judgment. And the prereqs are try to be physically dead, non-expectation, and a little bit of hungerness. Then what is our attitude towards the thoughts? Basically total acceptance and non-resistance, and then no holding on to. Then when the thought has no possibility of its identity, it cannot ground anywhere, because we are just slowly relaxing. So that's where the
very nice slide. This I have to keep it somewhere. Very nice slide.
Actually ये अभी उमा जी भी है ना, उमा जी actually the SSY, that is how they initiate us, and then they constantly talk about these three. ये SSY का direct slide है. Okay. So, and by the way, this was from Sri Ji's one of his talks or something like that. And Rishi Prabhakar ji talks about this aspect, right? Nowhere to go, nothing to get, nothing to do, and automatically, क्योंकि ये अहम जो रहता है, in order to put this, right, to act now, right, in order for me to talk, in fact, right now here, if I don't say, oh, right, if I don't take a role, then I can't go click this and do all that. Magar, right? So that is where you remember and just use that as a tool. That's all. And उसके बाद वो गिर जाता है, उसका role just falls down, and this remains continuously through. So it could be hundreds of, as needed, we take up the role and then just cools down. So wherever we go, it remains that way. So that light constantly stays. With that
And to this, few things I added, mainly, listening to Tapasji's videos. I added the alkaline water in the morning. I added, before I begin my meditation, I added Kumbhak, 12 rounds of Kumbhak pranayama, and also a little bit of Anulom Vilom. That helps a lot and gets you very deep in meditation.
I have to still find something. I heard about, I used to watch Ramdev Baba for a while. My mom is a yoga teacher. But when I found Kumbhak first-hand experience, I have yet to find something more powerful than Kumbhak. Dhyana mein, you will get lost. You might have some other thoughts come in your mind. Kumbhak will not let you deviate, because
Correct.
when you are dying, if you ever had an experience of drowning, I have had a personal experience of drowning in my life. There is no thought that comes to you about, I don't know, I'm not married, I don't have kids. I'm pretty sure you don't think about your girlfriend, wife. Very strange situation. I cannot explain. Like, I was surprised that why am I not thinking about my family or anything? When you cannot breathe, there's a very strange thing that happens to you. Ego comes to surface, like, oh my God, I have to come out of the water.
Actually,
and then no thoughts. Only there's a very, I'll talk about sometime maybe. But
actually, this one, whatever you're saying, sorry, there is a Patanjali Yoga Sutras where he says, like, there are after the antarayas, he basically says one of the 9 upayas, pracharana vidarnabhyam pranasya, when you break particularly the state after in the kriya, when you hold the breath with no breath, like, it's almost like a drowning kind of an experience.
Right.
That is a quick way to come to the centeredness. It basically
yes,
says
Keval Kumbhak, the concept of Keval Kumbhak, if you read in Patanjali, it says 3 hours. If you hold your breath, you can go in samadhi. I'm not advocating that, obviously. Medical science says you cannot hold that. But Kumbhak is extremely powerful. If you want to change yourself, fasting will work. It will take 24 hours to fast, right? And then alkaline water works. When you're thirsty, you probably do dry fasting. But Kumbhak, just, if you're upset with yourself, just do Kumbhak for 2 minutes. Just takes 2 minutes. Amazing response. You will lose your anger, greed, everything.
Yeah, Shivananda Yoga Kriya. This is what we do in our weekly yoga classes. After you do the Kriya, we do the Uddiyana Bandha. And then when you get into the meditation, they basically really train you to just Kumbhak, hold the breath.
Yeah.
In both after exhalation or, inhale, and then with the whole breath, then you try to focus, and you literally, mind comes into it. And then when you practice it more, in fact, you actually feel the pulse on your forehead.
Yes, and everybody will have different experience. I mean, Gita.
Exactly. That's another deadly dangerous direction, because symptoms सुनते हैं, as soon as किसी का, इसीलिए in the SSY or the path wherever I went, they always said, master said, please do not discuss the
I
symptoms.
like that, Ramakant, when they were teaching, do not share what's going on in your head, because it is very unique to you.
Correct.
There's no graduation.
क्या होता है, exactly. So like
we
Umaji
expect
said,
for that. We all get into
exactly.
Right?
And as soon as we said that, please go ahead. Vijay.
No, I have seen that in my practice itself. Every time I tell somebody, this happened to me, for at least 1 week I'm tortured. I don't go into deep meditation at all. And I stop talking about my meditation. No, I'm just telling from my experience.
I wanted to add a little thing. Sorry, this is Surabhi. And I was thinking about the Bhakti Yoga, Gyan Yoga, and Karma Yoga, and the Man, Buddhi, Ahankar, Chitta, all that. So I think there's a correlation between all that. So, and this is, I'm thinking that Bhakti Yoga is drawn from the Man. Like, when there is nothing else left, it is only the heart. It's the mana that is giving, that you are not thinking about senses, you're not thinking about the thoughts, logic, and nothing else. So bhakti is pure form of mana. Is man jo hai ekakar ho gaya hai with the divine self. So oneness of the man. And when we talk about Jnana Yoga, that is the logical mind. That's when we are talking about our all our meditation, that we are dropping the thoughts.
Sorry, Jnana
When
Yoga.
there's no thought.
Okay, I know you guys have welcomed me, but I have overstayed my welcome. I have to leave.
No. Tapasji, there is no.
भूख लगी है क्या तुम्हें?
नहीं, I have to see some paintings also. I'm at work now. So, but
No,
thank you, Uma.
Tapasji.
Thank you for introducing me to this wonderful group, and we'll keep in touch. Uma is, of course, our moderator and everything, so you can always connect me through her if you have any questions. But thank you, and I'm so glad you guys.
No, we would like to join your sessions. That's the whole thing. We want you to lead some sessions.
Well, I don't know if I can lead anything in life, but yeah, I'll certainly participate. And we will be doing a session soon, right, Uma? This week, I
I
think
don't
we are
know
doing
कब छुट्टी है आपका? We'll
it.
connect. Yeah, we'll figure
We'll
out.
connect sometime this week. It will be on my YouTube channel. I'm going to put it soon.
I
This
will
week.
let this group know
Okay.
once we decide.
So we will just do the regular session, Uma, that we used to do on Zoom, which is usually 90-minute session. So we just take random questions from people and kind of do quick answers and put it on the channel. It's been a while, actually. I think it's been like 3-4 months. But thank you a lot, everybody.
No,
for,
totally overwhelmed, Tapasji. So great to have
Thank you very much, Tapasji.
I'm pleasantly surprised कि आप लोग इतना अच्छा करते हैं, खुद से इतना अच्छा manage करते हैं. Very rare to see. So such a good site. In America also, people are not taken over by westernization. They're still tied to their roots. Very rare to find. Very good group. Please continue.
Please continue doing your videos. Really, it's helpful. And thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining.
If I were to say, there are so many bhaktas of you here.
We are at the same level. You know,
I can collect the fee, no problem. Just send me the checks. Suppose I have Kiva to give to, you know, can I collect from them on your behalf?
Don't collect.
Artharthi. Artharthi is a good one. So Tapasji, but please, I definitely would want to connect with you, to see how you could help us with this initiative, the YEC, and I'll spend some time, give you an overview and then give a little bit of the concept, and then I definitely would want to get your thoughts and perspectives on it.
Yes, certainly. No, we'll connect for sure. Yeah.
And that's for both here and India, and then of course, let's see how it all plays out. But there is a reason why we're all merchants of infinite possibilities, and there is a reason this game is getting even more interesting now that you entered.
That's why God creates this connection. Nothing is by chance. Everything is destiny, vidhana. So
Karya karana sambandha.
So chalo.
Way better mastery over the Upanishads and Gyan Ganga than I have, but it's wonderful. It's amazing.
Awesome.
Thank you.
So let's actually wrap up the satsang today. And I think today is probably the greatest explanation of bhakti that had happened. And in fact, it's not only the explanation, it's an experiential reality now. Now, if anybody says how wishes come true, which is everything is going to come. And then, so Tapasji, thank you so much to have the Leela manifest itself in so many ways. And it all because
I think Tapasji dropped, looks like, from the call.
Yes.
But what a fantastic.
He's saying he's at work, so he's probably getting some calls and stuff.
No, but see, we went from
Uma, you made our days. Thank you.
Thank you, Umaj.
Actually, please don't thank me. It's the university, it's not me. It just so happened that he called me and I said to him, there's this email that you need to answer. And I told them, I feel like मैंने नहीं बताया उनको that I know you. I did tell Savi, and I said I don't want to reach him, Srini, because I wanted him to have the option to say no if he cannot, right? Because of my connection, it's like me asking my Ananya or Sarayu, right? माँ हूँ तो ना बोल सकते नहीं बोल सकते ना. I did not want that, and I'm sorry I did not let you know, Srini, that. And I even sharing the videos, I felt a little odd because I love those videos, but then I felt like, I'm pushing things that I like. So I was hesitant when I shared the videos too. And then everybody in the channel said, oh, we know Tapas and, whatever. So it's interesting. I don't know, these dots amaze me, these connections, like I don't know what to say, I found him last January. And I'm like, oh, I like this. And then next thing I know, I'm moderating his channel, doing things, helping out on the side, whatever, checking emails periodically, came up with the email, Tapas Turiya. So it's just interesting. Mm-hmm. It's been an interesting journey.
Very interesting, dude. Basically, what it comes down to is we all basically is we all have to share. All it reinforces is I know nothing. All of you are a lot more advanced. I don't know Tapas, I don't know Karoli Baba, I don't know Krishna Das, I don't know Ramadas, I don't know any Dases. Right?
I think I fell in love with channel because he likes all the things that I like. People, I didn't even know that other people existed that knew these things. It's like common thread.
Guruji, वही तो बता रहे हैं जी. It's just आप तो इतना महान है, आगे हैं. right? But
अभी फिर से मत करो, आगे पीछे क्या है श्रीनी? You know it is not
नहीं है जी, आगे तो है, मगर आपका काम हो गया पीछे आके मुझे सर्व करना है, वही तो कर रहे हैं आप. You are coming back and then serving me. That is the role, karuna. That is called as a karuna and prema. So वही तो हो रहा है अभी. आपका तो karuna बहुत ज़्यादा है.
That's what I'm saying. If you are a true seeker, things will happen. Whatever happened today.
I am a firm believer of that. Right people come into your life at the right time, and then Vijay, आप बोल रहे थे ना advanced का playlist बोल के, उसके पीछे पढ़ के मैंने playlist बनवाया था. I don't have all the permissions because I'm not the owner of the channel, but he's given me all the permission that he can without actually divulging the password, for his account, which is his email account, right? I don't want that. So anyways, you're tired, Pandu? Your daughter is tired, Ramakant.
So basically,
not dinner yet.
Oh.
Hello, Srija, you're gonna sing the final song. Please stay there. So
Yeah,
if I were to reconstruct the events, Sajini is my cousin. You somehow know Sajini. You entered, to this YEC group because of Sajini, and then you entered, and somehow through Rumi, Savitaji and you formed, the Mutual Fan and Mutual Admiration Society, right? And then what happened is, then you guys somehow posted Tapas video. Then I got hooked onto him, and then I wrote an email to Tapasji, and then I copied Savitaji. It looks like Savitaji triggered you to get a response, and then you made it happen.
I did not know you sent the email. I do monitor that email.
I didn't share that you sent the email to her. Yeah, see.
Oh, you did not?
No, I didn't.
I monitor the email box, Srini.
But you did talk to him about, let's get Tapas into the Satsang or something like that, right?
Yeah. I asked her if she can, because when I got to know that she knows Tapas, I said, can you request? And that's the honest thing she said, that she wants him to have that option to say no. So that's when I asked you if you can send an email to Tapas requesting.
So now I happened to see the email this morning. So when he called me, I said, there's an email that you need to address. And then saath mein dekhe the, he goes, oh, I said, the satsang is happening right now. He said, okay, I can join. I said, you're going to air me out. So mujhe samjhegi ki main jhooti hu, kisi ko main bataya maine ki main tumhe janti hu.
Acha. Uma Devi means, that's actually right embellishment actually, right? It just came out like this. Uma Devi ji, now we've seen your power of Leela. So now that Tapasji showed up, now let me pick some.
That was my entire bag of tricks. Ho gaya mera.
Nahi ji, aapka to.
No, Uma, I have a lot of list. Please start.
Now let me make a list of A, B, C, and you pick what you think you can do. Krishnadas ji. So for the next satsang, who needs to show up? Can you make some?
I do not know Krishnadas, so please
let me make.
I will show up by myself. That is it.
Devi ji, let me finish my ask, and then you will figure out. You have a choice. Look, Krishnadas ji, Ramdas ji to nahi hai. वो तो बहुत मुश्किल हो जाएगा. ऊपर से लाना पड़ता है, right? So Krishnadas ji. Sadhguru? Oh, anyway, you don't like Sadhguru anyway. Sorry. Don't like me. Sorry. It's a little bit of but I think let's see. Let's make an intention to see if we can somehow get Krishnadas ji. Anybody have any, difficult choices for Uma Devi ji?
Arre bapre. This is not nice, Srini. You picking on me now.
No, I'm not. No, seriously, with no intention of picking on.
I do not. My world is ekdam chota. I have no idea how I even volunteered for tapas. Pehli baar gayi chukki. Uma, can you moderate? Out of nowhere. Next thing I know, I'm doing his channel, whatever. Even my kids know about him.
No, exactly. Just be small. Don't try to be big. That's the secret.
No, I don't want to be anything. Jo hai, wo hai, bas. That's then, we can all play Krishnadas and sing to it, That we
no issues, Srini, there is a seed that you are thinking out. Things will happen, no issues.
Exactly.
Umaji, there'll be some magic that will happen. And
exactly.
I will go. I love
some catalyst will come and they will make it happen.
And the thing is, like, you already answered a solution. right? Perhaps, the easier way to do is we can actually do a Krishnadas kind of a satsang also. That in itself is a one dimension of this stuff, right? So see, this is what I know. You think you're small. Actually, by being small, I asked the question, you already delivered on the solution.
That's a very good idea, Srinidhi. Krishnadas like session where one person sings and other sing back, and for an hour or two, that's real bhakti. Go into trance. I know virtually how much we can do it, but let's try to do it. I think Ramakanji is such a good singer; he will definitely
Yeah,
help
she
us.
can help us. We'll
Yeah.
follow you when you chant, beta. That would be good.
Okay. See, all the solutions. I just made a request and the solutions are already being concocted. So, chalo, Leela to bahut ho gaya aaj karke. I think itna hi kam hona chahiye. I think, otherwise it overflow. It can create a flood.
My father
Okay.
leads a bhajan group in India, so even he can.
Oh, that would be great. I mean, if we have the bhajan printed out and the lead singer sings and then we follow and immerse as much as we can, an hour or two, whatever, however it permits, and try to, uh, that would be definitely, we are missing and we should do it. If not,
Actually, Kavita ji, maybe, just probe on that a little bit more. Ye to chamatkar bhi ho gaya. Because when I did the yoga Patanjali sessions with India team, that was a fantastic experience, right? The oneness of that is unbelievable. If you're okay with it, maybe your dad could lead a, bhajan with, this semi-useless people.
He has no choice. He has no choice. He has to come.
Okay, chalo.
Ramakant's daughter says Ramakant has to come. He has no choice.
So that is your आपका homework है. Sorry, homework नहीं है. आपका लीला है. वो तो आपकी लीला है. चलो, everybody, let's wrap up today's session. We'll sit straight. Take a deep breath. Let's chant Om 3 times. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramayah Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhave Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We wish everybody to be happy. We wish everybody to be free of sorrow and illness. We wish everybody to see only auspicious things and let there be peace everywhere. With wonderful thoughts of your palms, the love and bhakti, cup your eyes to transmit this love. And slowly and gently, with a full sense of fullness and all the Leela, open your eyes. And Srijamma, do you want to sing one small thing? Anything that you would want for us?
No.
Any shloka, anything. Just we want to end with your voice.
Sing anything, whatever you like.
Or you can even sing Yatra Yogi Vara Krishna.
You want some lyrics on Aigiri Nandini, 2 lines. You want to
Yeah.
sing Aigiri Nandini? Let me Google out for you and you can watch and sing. So.
I'm going to send you a list of songs for us to sing, for you to sing for us. Nirvana Shatakam, Ajam Nirvikalpam, and there's a whole list of things. So every time you attend, you have to sing one of them.
Few lines is okay. Whatever.
गिरिनन्दिनि नन्दितमेदिनि विश्वविनोदिनि नन्दनुते गिरिवरविन्ध्यशिरोधिनि वासिनि विष्णुविलासिनि जिष्णुनुते भगवति हेशितिकण्ठकुटुम्बिनि भूरि कुटुम्बिनि भूरि कृते जय जय हे महिषासुरमर्दिनि रम्यकपर्दिनि शैलसुते सुरवरवर्षिणि दुर्धरदर्शिनि दुर्मुखमर्षिणि हर्षरते त्रिभुवनपोषिणि शङ्करतोषिणि किल्पिषमोषिणि घोषरते धनुजनिरोषिणि दितिसुतरोषिणि दुर्मथसोषिणि सिन्धुसुते जय जय हे महिषासुरमर्दिनि रम्यकपर्दिनि शैलसुते.
Very nice.
So love it. Anything anybody want to say? Please say it. Otherwise, let's cherish this moment. And
So blessed, Srija. You're so blessed. Your pronunciation so clear. Even though you have a different accent, when you speak English, but when you chant shlokas, I can't believe, it's so clear, so nice.
And
Maybe
the
you can
spashtata.
teach us a couple of lines each time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll get in. We are all in line actually to learn the chanting from us. I think Shrija, let me be your accountant. Let's charge $20 from Savita auntie. Then for auntie, $30.
Shrija, do you remember me?
No problem. Thank you, Srini. 30 and 40 cheyandi.
See, so let's actually make it. She's willingly offering. Let's make it 40.
Sure.
Right?
For her, it's priceless. I wish I could give you a blank check, Lana.
Okay, chalo. We'll first take it.
So all because of Swamiji. Again, the Holy Masters, their presence is definitely here. Like I said, of course, Sriniji always talks about Palgurus, and I always tell Sriniji, yes, that is what your horizon you're able to see. But I definitely know that, like I share with Vijay ji also. So in fact, I told Savita ji too, how there is definitely. I mean, I do not know, but I know this part. I don't know if you say what is the name. I may not know the name, but that guru, so-called, that we talked about just now in the slides, the super soul, is definitely present here.
Super soul is like that string, invisible string, like daga. Sabke beech mein se rehta hai wo.
Exactly.
Especially when you have the good intentions, it just happens. It just happens.
And the thing is, it doesn't have to even come in one physical form. It can come as a
thought or an incident. I don't know.
culmination.
So many things happen.
And I think that's what is for me. That perhaps part of that comes from Sri Ramji, part of that comes from Rajesh ji, part of that comes from Ramakanji, part of that comes from.
But these are the physical manifestations of that one, right? These are just little avatars of that.
And each one of them have could be Hindustani musical, somebody or Chandramohan Rao ji, right? So there is that Gurutvam is so big. And then that is Tattvamasi, that is nothing but you are nothing but that. So basically comes in, but there could be a better catalyst, right? Right now, I have an element of reverence for Sri Ramji, right? Every day I wake up and I listen to him, anything that comes in is part of it. But the best part is he plays with, like a Krishna and Arjuna, right? I like the Arjuna. Who is the Arjuna's guru? Krishna. What is his role? He was not on a pedestal. He was the Pal Guru. He was by his side. He was playing with him. And then when the time came, it's like, dude, Divyam dadami te chakshuhu. And then, Pal Guru elevate. But then again, he comes in and he's like, so for me, I have so many Krishnas in my life.
And all of us, right? All of us. Some of us know, some of us do not know. That's all it's all about. Some of us do not know.
And then that one day Jagadpuram is being manifested. Then why do I need, if somebody else comes in, they're also a Krishna. Right now for me, but I like the sambandham of Krishna and Arjuna. That guru That you say the Krishna pedestal or
the friend, right? That's how he is.
exactly.
Friend.
And even Daivam, when you basically becomes Hanuman and Ram never sat on a pedestal. Ram was hugging him and treating him like, his entire, dude, you're my dude, right? So I think my thing is, anybody that is actually a guru that is creating a pedestal, they're actually creating a separation of you and me. I mean, there is a, I'm going to take care.
That is still okay, Sriniji. I already told you about this. This is just what you are seeing, that there is a pedestal. But in the 11th chapter, like it says, Hey Krishna, Hey Yadava, Hey Sakyeti, Ajanata Maimananta Vedyam, Maya Pramadat, Pranayena Vapi. So he says, a lot of times I called you Sakha, Hey Krishna. I said, this Vishwarupa, I said, Krishna, oh my goodness. What a aparadha, right? So it will happen. It will not, and we don't need to. Again, you are totally right. You are totally right from your perspective.
No,
and what I see, I'm totally right from my perspective.
No, for me, when I see Sri Ramji, the level of Vidvat, the level of his thing that he has, I mean, he has been such his divine soul, right? Then when I was like, oh my God, but actually, everything that I actually have a little bit of this. I mean, of course, in the physical yoga, something, but this jnana, I went to Sri, I went to every one of them. Everybody showed all the things, but then until Sri Ramji came in, he basically is like, open, this is the foundation. This is how you're going to receive. And he basically put the foundation. Now in that, everything is falling in place, right? And, but anyway, the thing is, there could be a Vishwarupam Divyam Dadamite Chakshuhu could also come in. But
it is there right now. That's what I'm just assuring you and just putting my stamp on it. That is, it is there. But because as soon as you ask Sri Ramji, he would point to 4 more names. But when you point to them, they give you 4 more names. And then, so eventually it is again the same story.
Exactly. I think what it comes down to is, what's now happening is, perhaps, there is like, every guru that come in, you see the guru, but there is no Krishna Tattvam. There is some blemish that is there. What is that? Anumaya, or what is the word that you do? So then basically it's like, it's very difficult to surrender to a costume that is blemishless. Right? That Purnatvam is unable to see right now, right? But as you said, there will be some point you will see that Purnatvam in that Mahatma, where it becomes a blemishless. Then you automatically, then you don't have to do the chatter. Right now, all the gurus that.
But Srini, I think because we are not evolved, I'll talk for me. Because I'm not evolved and I live in this dualistic ego world, I see flaws. I wouldn't see flaws if I evolved. I don't need an evolved person for me not to see flaws. If I see yellow, it is yellow, right? If I can see a yellow in some other hue, that means I'm able to perceive more and better, right?
No, but
so
actually,
for all of us to wait for that divine avatar or whoever to come that has 0 flaws, when is that going to happen? I think meanwhile, we all need to get there.
No. So one small change here, small paradigm change is this inside, right? We talk about these 5 layers, right? The Panchakoshas. The final thing that is inside, which is empty. There is nothing, there is space. Right. On the space, like the onion model, is the other ones. So that empty space is already you. You are all
correct.
That is what just
right,
this
but
small
then that
thing
needs to, it's there, but I'm not with it all the time, right, Ramakant? Which is why I can see I'm fond of this person, not so fond of this person.
That is okay, like and perfectly okay. So all we are saying is, just repeat. What is the actual definition of abhyasa is the word repeat. And what do we repeat? We repeat these kriyas. Yeah. If you like the puja kriya, you do that again and again. Like Tapasji said, if we want to hit it fast, use the technique of the kriya of the breathing technique, right? Or somebody likes the Jnana Yoga, and Sriniji talks about Sarvapriyanandaji, all these. So it's like a big bottle of. Let's just look at this. Saturday evening, what would people do on this planet, and what are we doing here? 6 of us or 7 of us.
So and how long has it been going on? right? Which is like, our classes, whether it's 1%, 2%, 3%, we've made a habit of it, right? And it has been going on for a year or 2 years or more years. So then it is like, it's not because but it's not that. Actually, Umaji, one thing that you basically said, because we are able to see the blemishes, that means we are not evolved, right? That's a good. But when you become blemishless, then there is no need for a guru. You are a guru already.
Exactly. Then there is nothing that I need, right? I'm evolved. I'm done. Right.
Yeah. And then the best thing is,
the key is in my hand, like it's like Rumi
exactly.
says, right? You're in the prison with the key in your hand and you're not liberating yourself, That's
and
what
the best thing is, for me, I'm not even asking for a guru. If I have an intention, that's a beautiful thing. I'm not, if there is an intention of I need a guru. But right now, at least I don't need a guru. Everybody is coming and then they basically choosing, and it's like, dude,
Guru doesn't have to be a person, right? Guru could be a scripture that you read or somebody that came across and that kind of helped you go in a different direction. It doesn't have to be an embodiment for everyone. It doesn't. That's what I believe anyway.
Let's actually go down to it. What do you really want? It come down to, it's like, I actually sometimes it's like, chalo, it's like, oh, you wake up every day. Now, because I wake up, what do I need to do to keep myself exuberant? That basically comes down to that. So every day I don't have a plan. Every day could be an event. One day I write an email, if on the spur, okay, let me do a tapas email that goes in. Or, just like, okay, this could, but it's like, it comes down to, it's like, what, like, what Ramakanji said, nothing to achieve, nothing to gain, nothing to this.
Yeah, nowhere to go, nothing to do, nothing to get. Absolutely.
And then, but it
I like that slide that you had.
Yeah.
And that comes from Rishi Prabhakar. It is all copied stuff. Nothing is mine.
But you know what? Anything that you're putting together is still, it's like helpful.
It is a very profound.
And then, Satyaji tries to put me into a bond thing. Where is the 1-800 number for YEC? Oh my God. Where do I need to get a 1-800 number now? Right? And then I'm like, joyfully doing one thing at a time. And then somebody says like, where do you this 1-800 number? And then like, we're trying to buy a site. I'm just looking at it like, okay, this is a drama, right? Let's actually go do the drama and then what it actually comes. And then, but everybody else comes with, some responsibilities. Give me homework, put a 1-800 number there. I was like, why do I need to do a 1-800 number now? Right? But of course, we do an organization thing. We have to do something. But seriously, which is like, what do we have to gain or what do we have to achieve, right? Is there a name somewhere that we need to get to? What does that name? It's like, it to LinkedIn to badhiya ho gaya. Abhi to ekdam mushkil, ekdam, pagal kapan hai, right?
I think instead of asking what do we want, it's like this, right? We came today with Satsang and the direction changed, but still we are still in the path. It's like that.
Exactly.
So asking constantly, what do I want? Because our ego is there, it'll always points out to some materialistic things or some human being or some experiential. I think not asking what do you want, what do we want in some ways keeps us open to new experiences and new,
whatever comes your way. I'm with you, Savi, because otherwise it's agenda based, right?
Exactly.
I don't want to live an agenda-based life. I don't want not in a negative sense. Ye karo, wo karo, wo karo,
Yeah, like I'm saying.
Keep it like a Mercury. Right, right, it is like there is nothing to. It's like, oh, chalo idhar karna hai, wo karna hai. Idhar karta hai. Be as flexible, no bondage. That is one of the reasons where I don't like to stuck to any one organization. In fact, I'm resisting to create an organization around YEC because now I'm not bound to an Isha fabric, Autoblame fabric, Bikram fabric. You can be in any which way that you can actually go play. We should be malleable.
I feel things, the more you say I don't want to, things will put you into those boxes.
No, but it's not even you're absolutely right. You don't even have to make that as a play, right? I don't want to, but it's just that, everybody is in you, everybody is not in you, right? But the thing is, a lot of people will try and put you in the box. So it's like, why are you not getting into an Isha box? What part of Isha that I don't know, that I'm not part of a box? It's just that you don't have a certificate. You know, I'm
Yeah,
probably
Srini,
Isha, like I know sounds of Isha, Sadhguru talk, or at least I'm enjoying everything that I need from Isha without needing a certificate. Or at least this is what I hope. Am I interpreting your thing correctly, Savitaji?
Yeah. But what I'm trying to say is, I think in a way, the way you're saying, you're also still defining yourself. You're defining yourself, saying, I am not this, I am this, I don't want to do this, I want to do this.
Believe me,
no, I only want to be not this. Neti. The more negatives that I want to add, that's what I only want to go into the thing. I don't want any.
At least there will be a day, Sriniji, where you'll say, you're saying, I want to be neti, right? There'll be a day where you
that is a want.
I do not know. You will clearly say, I do not know. Let that run, whatever needs to run. There is some higher intelligence. It will get certain things done through.
That I think.
This becomes few minutes sometimes. This becomes more minutes. It becomes half hour. It becomes 2 hours. It becomes 24-hour phenomenon. Now, I can confidently say, again, when I say I'm getting mixed up, but that miracle happens throughout the day. Not knowing when I am brushing, when the brush is going here, when the breakfast is happening, right? And so much of fun. Kids eating, everything goes around you. So many things go around you, but you do not know. You can never define anything. Sometimes tears fall. And this concept, you said, like Savitaji, whatever she's saying, I can totally relate to that. What you resist will persist. There will be a day. Totally. There will be a day when you say, इतना डर लग रहा है मुझे कि मैं want भी नहीं बोलूँगा, come back, क्योंकि if I say something that is happening right now, you're so fearful because whatever you think is happening.
Manifesting, yeah.
Okay, इतना हिल जाते हो आप, इतना हिल जाते हो कि the presence of God, जो सोचते हो वो कम वक्त होते ही रहता है. So you are like, भगवान छोड़ो मुझे please. यानी कि please, you are the guy, please run it the way you want it.
Run through me, exactly.
No. But actually, I wish, not a wish. I'm asking the wish, like what Vivekananda, right? अगर भगवान देता है तो देखो ये सब थोड़ा inequality का थोड़ा कुछ करो. But anyway, चलो यार ये तो game तो बहुत अच्छा मजा हो गया.
Because yours is a bigger. That's what. And as long as we connect to the higher sankalpa of Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu, everything will happen. A lot of miracles going to happen. I have personally told you a lot of times, saying, there's plenty of things that are coming from you. You don't even fathom what is going to happen. I very clearly see, but you can't ask me details. I do not know, but I can very clearly see there is a lot of.
What I basically say is, this life of mine is nothing but has been such a magical experience that I never thought it would come into this experience. And I'm like, this is a miracle and wonder what it has actually been. I mean, not that I have a sense of doership. It's just that how many of you are coming into this life to even have this forum of spending in this many things, right? I'm like, ooh, but I think, but at the same time, it's a very joyful thing, right? So let's just keep it this way. And the moment where I am scared, literally like a wishing of scaring, the moment I put in an organization, a box of, the YEC or my own thing, then I'm worried that, I basically is like, right now I have such a free playground. If I want Shaila comes in. If I want, Sai, Ekam USA comes in. If I want Tapas comes in. If I want Sriram, everything comes in. And if I want Ramakanji or Lead India, that also comes in. But the moment I put something, actually I had this conversation with Shaila the other day. Apparently she was getting a doctorate from some yoga university in thing. And she's like, they're doing this yoga, but I'm not sure if they're a competitor to YEC. I'm like, where did this word competition for YEC came in? The moment if somebody feels like there's a competition, we'll just, strike this entire YEC thing. YEC is it's a sirf soch. It's a search of, how do we use all the tools that we have, to create oneness and excellence. That's all there to it, right? And then within that, we say like technology use karo, yoga ka use karo, sharing use karo, sabka kul mila ke istemal karke. Actually, istemal is a very beautiful word. Istemal karke, right? Go in the pursuit of oneness, and if anything, this become a YEC becomes an obstacle of doing something, then we simply abandon it and then we go to another monkey. And then I was like, are you competing with this stuff? I'm like, ooh, I said like, no. That is one of the reasons we still play with pure online. We still play with, they may have, competitions. Ye sab ka chakkar un logon ka hai. Isha versus Art of Living, let them figure it out. For us, we just have to keep this so free-spirited so that when Tapas is doing this, we can label this as like, this is Tapas's organization. If you want to, first of all, basically, we are inherently lazy people. First, everyone is lazy, right? So if somebody else wants to do the homework, why can't we let them do the homework and then you just stay in the back? Right? Then you can actually use this time to learn some Hindustani classical music if somebody is actually, or do other things, right? So the inherent nature of a good being, enlightened being, is you have to be lazy and then give homeworks to others.
That said and done, people have become so so much chivalry these days. If you ask people in a group, or what do you want to eat? Whatever you want to eat, even democracy is not taken. So said and done, I think we also need somebody who is a leader have a vision, but no vision. Vision, no vision. Like somewhere, like how you're leading. You have a vision.
No, but the thing is,
but I'm saying, sir, we need like, we need the bullock itself can't become a cart, and the bullock becomes bullock cart, like, they're from takes to place. So you do need that.
Yeah, the tingling, basically there should be a tingling. Kilakam in the mantras they say, right? Maharshi, this mantra, this rishi and all, then they say da kilakam. So that linchpin is important because
basically,
insert into their schedule a small thing there, and slowly the rudder it automatically changes.
Basically, it's like there is, from one thing that we always say here, right? I think that's what I really like about Tapas. Tapas is like, he's born out of experiential reality, right? What comes to him or what he resonates with and stuff, right? For me, also the same thing is, like the triad that I talk about, right? It is what my life journey has been. It's an experiential reality. So then basically it's like, we see the power thing, and then we basically put that to, it's like, hey, there is this one experiential reality seems like something, and then we try to put it out there. And Ramakanji basically said something. We're like, we just put the seed out there. Who is going to do it? What they're going to do with it? We are not going to be here. Somebody else is going to do whatever, all the thing. We just be joyful and then prachodayat. We just put the thing and then just try to move in that direction of the thought. Soch. And then, but of course, like what Savitaji is doing as an organization, to when there are so many people that come together, where India lacked the skills is the organization skills, right? So we've just put some metrics and this stuff, so that you're like going here, like Ganapati Sachidananda Swami, right? How do you anchor everybody to motivate? We needed some kind of a temple here, Karyasiddhi Hanuman temple. Then it basically created a movement, united, and then so the people are all working towards it. I mean, how much fantastic organization. So I think that's what we are going to do it. My only thing is we become the experiential reality. And then the second one is, we don't become yet another organization where we are basically talking about differentiation. The moment if somebody says, how is YEC better than somebody? And then basically it's like, no, they are very much part of us. They're very much part of it. We are only adding this additional dimension. We are never a competitor to anybody. It's against the oneness, right? The only unique thing is we are trying to leverage everything that they have, and then we are trying to apply it to an entrepreneurial mindset to actually create a better oneness and equality. That basically comes down to that. And for that, we become, so at least that is what the thought process that I have. Not I have, which is like, this is I was like, my words are like totally fail me right now. So
but I think because not everybody will get that concept, so you have to use your thought in a medicine a different way. You can't medicate everybody the same way. So you might have to use certain boxed element. You have to change the combination of that medicine to give so that they get to engage.
Correct.
Otherwise, if you say, oh, this is what it is, it's not everybody's conceptual mind will work like that. So I think
I think that's where we are saying, right? We have to meet the people where they are. That's where we are trying to get the gamification into it and this and this stuff. So where we are dropping all the Sanskrit, we basically is like, how do we make cartoons to appeal to everybody? So we have to focus on the essence and then meet the people where they are, intersect them where they are, and then take them along on a journey. The journey, I think, that is one of the reasons, as an example, Savita ji is like, owning up all the yoga programs for the youth. sorry. So, or something like that. Uma ji is gonna do a Leela tomorrow morning. Actually, I'm very much eager to see that Leela. What you're gonna do tomorrow?
Don't put stress on me. It's just a yoga class.
And then we both even had a sauda this afternoon. That apparently the Leela that Uma Devi ji. Can I call you Uma Devi ji? Actually, it sounds better.
Uma is good. Uma
No. Uma ji is going to do this yoga class tomorrow, but she already has all these things. No. Basically, it's like no recording, no nothing, no this thing. I was like, okay, chalo. And then what I did was first I posted a picture on the WhatsApp with that. She already said no pictures should go out, and I already posted a picture. And then basically
and he says apologies afterward. Bolta hai ki you cannot get mad. Bolta hai. I'm like, you didn't even tell me what it is. How can I tell you I'm not going to be mad?
No, first I called her and she's like, Raksha, what is that? Raksha mom. Or, it's like, can you assure me that, you will forgive me, or if I do something? What did you do? It's just like, just make me this promise. And then she did. And then it was like, okay, you wanted me to not take the pictures and post it, but there is a picture that was already posted. And then it was like, because I really like the fact that, Savita ji was leading. There are like 4 or 5 people that showed up and then doing really good thing. I thought that is going to influence. And then Uma ji was like, okay, chalo, ab kya kar sakte hain? Kuch nahi. Okay, tomorrow, but make sure that you don't do it.
Uma, so barely, that small picture, hardly you can see.
Exactly.
But, I'll get past tomorrow.
Yeah, somebody, we can all see this. Uma ji is going to be doing, and there will be an FB live that is going to happen someday. Right?
शाप क्यों लगा रहे हो मुझे?
No, शाप तो क्यों नहीं थी, वो तो और भी है शायद, right? But anyway,
no, I will tell you. I will tell you something. Even I was watching Mahabharata one day, the newer version, and Krishna says, which I am also understanding now, is like Pandu, because he left the kingmanship, like because he felt he made a mistake, he has to get the prayashchit, and he went away. Sometimes what you're meant to do, and if you leave that and go into that direction, like how Arjuna was asking, like, I want to become a sannyasi, I don't want to do anything, or all those things, that it's also is wrong, because somebody who is not good, worthy enough, will come and take over. Know what I mean? So yeah. I think that also adds to your bad karma. So like what I'm saying is like, we should share that. When believe me, I was like that, like you. I have nothing to do with anything. I don't want to share. I mean, I would share with people I know, like passionately, until they tell me shut up, I would share with them. But that actually also made me think, when people who are meant to do what they're supposed to do, they don't do it and give up. What happens is somebody else will come up and take. Like we saw in America, right? Like, nobody owned it, and like Trump came. I mean, I don't care who is Trump's favorite here. I'm saying like somebody who's incapable or whatever it is, like, who brings hate into the top, will take over. So I think the more, we're not saying we are capable or anything, but as long as we are here to spread love and care and, something, I think we should continue doing it. So actually, I would say...
Sorry, finish. Sorry.
yeah. I would say, Uma, please don't stand back.
No, मैं कल सिखा रही हूँ ना. I'm going to take the class.
Yeah.
सिखाना होता है, public display भी होता है जी. But anyway, we'll get there. No, but the thing that we were saying is, this is what precisely one of the thing, the interpretation is at the periphery, right? The Bhagwad Gita says, Abhyudhanam adharmasya tadatmanam smajameham. Who is the tadatmanam? It's me. I am going to raise up. What people have done is that externalize the thing is like, that tadatmanam is like Krishna is going to come in some avatar, like some of this stuff. What he's saying is basically says like, you tell this to yourself. Tadatmanam sujameham. We all are going to invoke that to restore the dharma. The moment you ignore it, it's not sattva actually, it's a tamas. We get into this tamas, and then what happens is then adharma is going to take over, that is going to lead. And then, there is a bigger price that you need to pay, right? So basically, all of us are nothing but the Arjunas. We're always in this constant Kurukshetra, where all are the guardians of the dharma of your own body and the dharma of the field around you. These two kshetras, and then dharma is like basically like what Savitaji said, universal human values, compassion, karuna, ahimsa, satya, this thing. If you don't guard it, you may not realize that it may not hit your door right now. But the more it's happening around you, someday it's going to knock on your door. It's just a matter of time. You may not be there. So this is what actually Patanjali says, right? What it basically says, like, Vitarka himsadaya krutakaritan modita. Whether you need to pick a direct role or indirect role or influential role. If you be the witness of adharma in any one of the roles, then you basically eventually get to dukkha jnananta phala iti pratipaksha bhavanam. He basically says that. So Savitaji, you are absolutely right. We all need to wake up of the tamas and then be the guardians of the dharma around us. And that is exactly democracy, right? If you don't vote, you're like, you get the messed up. Only the people that vote are like, the right wing or left wing or some other thing, that basically suddenly comes and they make the rules for you. So we are given the whole world, Kshetra Prakriti is billion minds, billion people, democracy. How do you create oneness? In the billion thoughts, how do you? So we all have to shape. So I think, but I think, wow, what a beautiful thing. I think everybody, so many. So chalo, Umaji, you and Savitaji and Kiranji have taken over the yoga thing.
Uma is gonna say what किन लोगों के साथ पाला पड़ गया.
Exactly. अभी तो, and then the next one is क्या? आपका तो इतना चमत्कार है जी, आपके इसमें हाथ में सबकी तपस माने तो तपसा हो गया अभी.
That just happens to be incidental.
I know. This is if it's incidental, that's a good one. If it's accidental, that's a problem. But if it's incidental, you also use the right choice of words also. Incidental.
It is incidental. Accidental nahi hai.
Chalo. So incidental.
I became an accidental yoga teacher though.
अच्छा, वो भी तो incidental ही हो जाएगा. चलो. You're a soul of manifestation. So we just have to आपका our से ना थोड़ा संभल के एकदम इतना प्रदर्शित मत करो जी.
It's like Tapas talking about, bending that spoon. Public में नहीं होता है वैसे ही
Exactly. अच्छा. So we have to save you for this limited satsang, and then all the spoon bending needs to happen here. Right? So Krishnadas is on the list, right? Krishnadas का homework.
हम तो इतना फिदा है उसके ऊपर की और हम सांस लेना भी भूल जाएंगे उसको मिले थे फिर से.
Hey, I think maybe sending an email would be nice to him.
Yeah, why not?
Let's start with, that's how it started, and you came about. We don't know who's going to enter in satsang and say, oh, I know Ramdas.
I'll join you guys. I joined his satsang. I mean, online. I do not know him at all. On every Thursday. That's how I knew about the movie, because once in a while they will put up a documentary or something,
But it's so funny. Savitaji, isn't it so magical? We wrote an email and then somebody shows up and I'm like, okay, chalo. And then I'm like,
I did not expect. Banda phone kiya tha, main bartan manj rahi thi. I forgot, lost track of time. That's why I was late. He goes, hey, I'm trying to help him with something else. He called me about that. Then I said, hey, there's an email that you need to check. And Fatak se check kar diya. He must have, he brings his laptop to work too. He goes, oh, I said, that satsang is happening right now. Okay, I'll join. I said, please do not air me out. I did not.
Now this is a validation. This is a validation of karma yoga. When you want to do it, you have to bias for an action. You cannot let it sit here. Speculating. There is nothing to do in intellectual stimulation. That nothing kuch bhi nahi hota hai. Ye to put it out there. On Wednesday, I actually
That's
wrote
really how it happened. He was like, that's okay. I'm like, no. Could you just pretend like you do not know me? बोल रही थी मैं उसको ना बोला मेरे को बंदा.
Ramakant ji, this is what we need to do. I think even this ranch, when I bought it, I wrote an email stating what my intent. Everything actually started with a writing. Actually, writing is a big thing. Actually, writing.
Sagam manifest aitadi Srini raste.
Exactly. When you actually do it, it is actually even more manifesting. You are giving a concrete shape. And you, instead of writing, if you actually do a picture and then visualize it even more, the finer details that you can actually visualize, the greater it's going to be. Right? We don't actually, we don't dare to dream. We don't dare to visualize it so fully.
I think we dare to dream. We are afraid that the dream will come true.
Why? Really?
Yeah.
Why?
That's what.
Or the other way is, we do not have the magnanimous way of dreaming. That's the part.
No, that's why they say a lot of people don't win a lottery ticket is because they want to win, but they're afraid also that what will happen to me if I win, kind of a thing.
No, really?
So,
no, the thing is,
there is a fear attached to your desire or whatever you call. There is a fear because that's my thing.
Like an enlightened person. Most people that are going out there, they win. They basically immediately see. From what I know, it's like, okay, iske baad, then I'm going to go to Vegas. I'm going to buy a Porsche and I'm going to do this. Most people are like at the superficial thing. Right?
Because they know it's not happening, that they already have. Yeah, exactly. They have a question. Exactly. They have a question and answer themselves.
Correct.
So that's where it is. That's where they can do a whole movie in their mind, whatever they want.
Exactly.
But they also the opposite of the movie is also happening simultaneously.
Correct. In our case, like when we wrote the email, for me it was so. I mean, not that. There is a sense of believability. I was like, this is choti si baat hai. You just have to write it, and then when he reads it, and I basically it's like, and I was actually surprising that in the 2 days, why hasn't Tapas actually responded to it? I said like,
because banda email nahi dekhta hai, mujhe usko khosna padta hai ki email dekho bol ke.
No, mine is like, chalo dekho, uski opportunity hai, uska dekhna hai to uske de do. But the thing is, I did my thing. I was like, usually I thought that email should have meant an immediate response. As an example.
You know what? If I hadn't known you guys that you were sending, let's say I truly was not part of this, he checks those emails once every 15 days, and sometimes I'll go check in between, right? So I happened to be on it this morning. That's how I knew that there was an email. So when he called, I said, there's an email that you need to look at, nahi to 15 din lagta hai usko beech mein dekhne ke liye.
I didn't tell Srini that we sent an email.
So you just logged in by chance and then you saw this email. And then
when he called, I told him, you need to take a look at this email. I said, mujhe to judi lagta hai, I don't feel good that I am not telling. I told Savita, so aadha weight utar gaya mera.
Oh, you told Savita that
I told Savi, I told her exactly what.
No. She said, she asked me to send an email, but then I said I have to ask Srini's permission to send an email to be part of the satsang. No, we don't want to spam him with email, right? You also send, I also send.
Mhm.
So then Uma said that she won't ask him. You send the email, because he should have a choice to say no if he wants to, and don't not be obliged by Uma to say yes or whatever it is. So
because look, I whatever I do, right, I do as a volunteer for his group, and I don't want him to even any, you know, I did not want him to feel like, you know, okay, I have to say yes because it's Uma.
Actually, for me, the most interesting thing is when you guys posted the video, then I was doing a little bit more research about him, right? And I went to his about. I really liked his identity, the way he wrote it.
Oh my God, yes. That's what I like about him.
And then that's when it's like, yeah, why not? You know, he should show up in our satsangs, you know. And then I basically was like, yeah, he will show up, because it looked very much like any one of us.
Yeah, Ahmadmi. Yeah, that's, I mean, you see him, how casual he is. Everything just comes out of his mouth.
Actually, it's like a total binda. Itna cool hai. Like the way he has a sense of, I mean, I like the modern Krishna needs to be like that, right? You know, which is like a genes, but you know, he has this a little bit of knowing and not knowing. He has both those things, right? The 1 and 0 is being played, right? You know, he has this.
Because he's very humble, you know, he's extremely knowledgeable, but he plays it down, you know.
No, but he also knows it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He plays it down, as in like he doesn't like, you know, yeah. I think I understand what you're saying.
From rooted that thing, but it's like, we can actually say that. And then the way, I mean, see this, right? You know, he sits like this, right? You know, it's like, you know, our is like where I like that kind of a thing, because you know, this dress codes, it is like, again, it's labeling, right? You know, one that breaks the dress codes, and then I mean, I love it. And then I basically said like, okay, chalo, ye to karna hai, you know, because I said, you know, he's gonna show up. Then at least mera dharma is like, I need to write an email. So it's like, I just wrote an email. And then I just copied Savita ji, because I know you both talked about this and this stuff. So that I basically said, okay, chalo, this is what it's actually done. Then that month I forgot about it.
I admire that, you know, you go and you know, contact Tejas, Tapas. Sorry, I have been listening to him for 1.5 years. I never dared, I never thought I should, you know. So that's really great. You know, I should learn from you. You know, yeah, I always wanted to connect with him, ask questions. I never sent even an email. Forget about talking to him directly.
He does answer emails, Vijay. He does. If there's ones that I can answer, I do, but I myself don't like to. I think in the beginning, he was hoping that I will handle some of the emails. I do not feel anywhere evolved. So mujhe hypocrisy लगता है, because I am not anywhere evolved. तो मुझे गलत लगता है answer करना, तो मैं नहीं करती हूँ. I answer those that are very benign. Like if they're looking for something, if there's a link of a video I can send, or some things like that are like on the, you know, very simple surface level, I do. Bakika, I sort them out so he can answer them all. So I'm like a glorified secretary for him, voluntarily.
But in a way, I also think, you know, as we have more people, we have a group or something which probably Tapas is not trying to have, because that eventually becomes an attachment, and it's very difficult to get out of it and focus on the path you are on, because that comes with a lot of
it depends on what his goals are. Like, for example, Vivekananda, he wanted to do it, but when he says like, I need to share this knowledge to more and more people, that's when you need an organization. Then he created Ramakrishna, you know, thing. Whenever you set up it's not because of when it becomes a selfless goal, right? I need to transmit this to more, then you have to find an effective means of actually getting it.
Sriniji, but that determination, that, you know, what you are doing and what you are inside, that doesn't happen to people, or at least at my level, because people who are enlightened, they could balance everything out. When we are talking about Vivekananda's example, they can have a bigger group, they can lead so many people. At the same time, they withdraw from everything instantly. That, because they have seen both the I was talking about, the ego and the consciousness. They look at the both.
he used to sleep on the floor, right? And he could literally look in the Rockefeller, and basically it's like, Rockefeller, you need to get a better sense of your life. And then Rockefeller wrote a check, and Rockefeller is like, you need to thank me. It's like, you should thank me. Why should I thank you? He was able to tell him Rockefeller, right? He was the reason for the Rockefeller Foundation actually came at, right? But the thing that I've actually learned to do is, even with like, when I first met Ravi Shankarji, I went to Bangalore and I did not know what I was doing. There was something. And he was not supposed to be there. He was supposed to be in Germany. Somehow his thing got cancelled and he showed up at the Bangalore ashram. And he was supposed to bless everybody in that silence course. When he came to me, I says, like, I came to meet you. And literally, I told him, I came to meet you, to have a one-on-one with you. And then it just went and, then the gods and this and stuff. But finally, he saw me like, I was very serious about what I wanted to do. And then one day he basically said, like, just come and sit with me. And then I was with him for 4 or 5 hours. And then he says, like, yeah, you've been very patient. And then we both were like, one-on-one for 25 minutes. Right, in his private lawn. And then we were talking about all these things, and then finally basically said, like, why don't you do some marketing program? Why don't you take Sri University or some of the thing, right? But the thing is, when we want, we have to. There is a saying, right, Savitaji, which says, like, even mom also, if you don't ask, they don't put it. I even wrote the same thing last time when I went to Isha. I wrote an email to them, Isha Foundation. It's like, hey, I need to meet Sadhguru one-on-one. And then he showed them, like, I didn't even do inner engineering. That's the issue. But I basically was like, I'm a big fan of Sadhguru. This is what it is. This is what it is. I want to do. And they were like being reviewed at the thing. And then it so accidentally it happened. But I did not know how to anchor it to a little bit more. But I think at the end of the day, what they will say is no. Or not respond. And you haven't lost anything.
Yeah, I
But
mean, unless you ask, right? I mean, the answer is no if you don't ask.
Exactly. It's already no, right? At least we are trying to create
If you
something.
don't ask, the answer is no. If you ask, there's a 50-50, right?
Yeah, exactly. So Umaji, I at least asked you so many things.
Yeah.
Sometimes
But remember,
I do it,
there's a 50-50 of saying yes or no.
No, but the thing is, sometimes I know that, you sometimes don't grant me. So I do it and then ask.
I know. Oh my goodness.
But it's not that.
अभी कैसे ग्रुप में आ गए हम लोग दूसरा ग्रुप बनाओ ना
अच्छा अभी तो faction हो गया अभी duality. I thought we are all becoming Advaita. Then again faction हो गया. Right? इतना सा छोटा सा group है जी. इतना सा छोटा सा. Right? For a long time, it was only Savita ji, Ramakant ji, and I. And sometimes right? they will also. There were a few times that they also did not show up.
Yeah, he was recording all by himself actually.
But that was the best recording,
listen.
I'm telling you.
Right?
I told Tapas first time, the very reason I love to watch your videos are because there is no ads.
I know, and he refuses to monetize, so we don't do that. So everywhere, whenever we are uploading the videos, we make sure that all those options are properly checked. We've been getting calls like, saying, could you put this ad, $2,000, $4,000, whatever. He's like, I just spammed them. I delete them. Because I know that's not what he wants to do. He wants it to be for people to help. He has no desire to monetize anything.
That's what every video he does. Every video he does, every time I listen to his videos, there is a service oriented in his voice, in his like where he's really wants you to get what he has in his mind. It's not like I know this and I want to tell you.
His intention is for us to understand. Isliye he was telling me, I was talking to a couple days ago. I'm telling the same thing, bar same bata rahi hu, different. I said, but you understand how this works, right? Each person learns a different way. Just by you saying same material is what he says. He's very humble. That's why he says, like, it's not same material. There's so much he talks about, right? So I'm like, hearing it in a different way. किसी को एक समझ में आता है और किसी को और कुछ समझ में आता है. This is really good that you do what you do, because, again, right? What clicks for one person doesn't click for another person.
Correct. This is so beautifully said, because the Gita has been told for ages. Yoga Sutras have been told for ages. Advaita has been told for ages. In fact, the interesting thing is the same Brahma Sutras is being interpreted like opposite ways, Vishishta Advaita and Advaita, or Advaita Advaita. The thing here is all of us have to share the truth as we perceive it in our own way, because there is some combination of tattvas. They may be tuned to more. Right? There may be more people like the tapas way of doing it, but they may not, other people may only know the ISKCON way of doing it. And they may not, both may not like each other. But we all need to basically, is like, the thing is what Savitaji you're saying is, the way you, but the best thing that you said, when Tapasji says it's not self-serving, it's actually genuine intention come from, I want to serve. Whatever kind of goes in my neurons, there is some connection that I'm having. How do I put it out there? You see the deep inquest, because he connected so many things in his neuron. And then he's like, and then the way he even beautiful chart, one chart, he basically puts everything, the whole map. And then it's like, okay, chalo, itna mushkil bhi nahi hai. Let me navigate this to you in a way, right? He has that compassion, a karuna. It is like, let me actually get you here. When you come from that, as opposed to the self-serving versus the serving, I could really see that. And he didn't have anything, no goals to achieve, nothing to, is like, I just put it, I got this insight. Let me put it out for you. Now the thing is, वही तो अपना व्यास and ये सब का sages, they never want intellectual property. They basically, whatever was tuned into them, they basically put it out there. And then bhashans, how much ever the painstaking bhashans that they have done. Was there any company? Was there $100 for this level 1, level 2? Nobody did that thing, right? Now, itna chota sa bolta hai, what you resist, what you persist, and then that's $100. Right? And then when do you get the next one? Inner peace, outer dynamism, that's a $300. Right? And when do you get to like
there is nothing, right? See, whether it is called Isha Kriya or Sudarshana Kriya, whatever Kriya it is called, they did not invent anything. Look, instead of taking breath from left side, you start from right side. That is, you call your own Kriya? You cannot own that Kriya. No, it has been there from ages.
Exactly.
And how can you monetize on that? What did you invent there at least? But having said that, we differ from person to person. In this age, when so much modernization and people are lost with 100 TV serials and multiple ways to be, someone goes to them, gets a start, and if the Banda is intelligent, he will understand, okay, at least I got this here, I should live here, I should go somewhere else. Or the guru, the behind, somebody will start, the guru, the Krishna, right? He will start guiding them. But at least somehow the mass is at least getting there. I don't know how much will stick there, but I wouldn't pay $500 for that inner engineering, whatever it is.
Actually, no, the thing is, I like Sadhguru because he's actually doing it at a level. Or even Sri it used to be that way. I really like them because they brought the awareness, they built an organization. Now, it's like if I look at Sadhguru, his closest friend is Mark Benioff or Will Smith or others. So he's actually using the world leaders to actually go, take this to make the change agent, right? Because of, if he did not have, if you were like a Muni, like somewhere, probably he wouldn't be able to rally some element of forces to be part of the movement. So I think everybody is cutting at it some level, because at the end of the day, we need to awaken. The consciousness need to be built at the lowest level, middle people, leaders, and all the things. So there is a method that you connect to a different level, ethos, pathos, and logos. I think he's taking a shot at it. I wouldn't believe, I did not understand some elements of my identity and all that stuff without Isha and sounds of Isha, so many different things. But the thing that I basically do is, Sadhguru basically says, none of his serious followers, he basically tell them that don't read any scriptures. He basically says that's all spiritual gossip. You don't indulge in whatever you need, it only comes from me. He literally tells people, don't engage in spiritual gossip. Don't basically, whatever you need, it only comes from me. That actually is like against the philosophy of what Sanatana Dharma said.
Yeah, he claims he hasn't read anything. He hasn't gone through the scriptures or anything. I've seen those videos, and I don't know. That's not the way to encourage anyone, right? Well, in Bhakti, you don't need to read, maybe you don't need to read anything. You are involved in Bhakti, that's fine. But now, when certain path, like for example, Gnana Yoga, you must read those scriptures. And you should understand what it is. And, when you advocate, don't read that, that's not right.
Actually,
that's my
yoga, Krishna Bhagwad Gita says, that's what we were supposed to do, but we'll cover that in the thing. There are 4 types of bhaktas. And then Bhagavan says, it's like the real one is a jnani. The jnani who culminates in the bhakti is the most dear to me. Everybody is good. That's what he basically says. The wise ones, or not the smart ones, the wise ones who actually sees the oneness, and that is the closest that way. And then he basically says, but those words are durlabhas. Those Mahatmas are very, very difficult. It actually comes in this and stuff. So all of this is actually being codified. It's just that we're choosing to interpret at a periphery level. But if you actually go deep, everything is being laid out right there. But anyway, why don't we do the next week satsang next week? Why are we doing it now? So let's actually end it.
Yeah.
Right? Hello.
Yeah.
All right, guys. We'll talk again. Bye.
Good night.
Night.